Do not, under any circumstance, just don't do it. Don't even think about doing it.
We're allowed to talk whenever.
I'm of the opinion. Just let the intro play. Don't run your don't
just
flap your mouth.
I work so hard on and just you just can't do it. Why does it say 10 p.m. when it's 9 o'clock? What the fuck?
Well, we should talk about that.
What is this stupid
we leave
show
after 10 p.m.
with all these fucking idiots on the show?
It's all gonna go back to normal. Don't worry.
It's all nothing is normal about this fucking hellhole.
Okay.
Being on this
We're in hell.
That's fair.
And that hell is made out of our friends.
This goddamn show. I can't believe you're ruining the intro. This is absurd.
Yeah. Breaking news. Andrea wore us down.
Unbelievable.
Okay.
Next week we go back to 10 p.m. Okay.
You know what that reminds me of? There's like a
Announcing it
skit.
right away.
There's like a skit that's like a talk show. It was like, "Can I talk?" And everybody's talking over each other the entire time, and every 5 seconds they would just break in. It was like a panel show, and they'd break into like just being like, can I talk? And everyone would stop for a second. It would be really awkward. The person would go into the conversation, and everyone would start talking over each other again.
It reminds me of the Waltons. Remember that old show, The Waltons, at the end where they're like, "Good night, John Boy. Good night, Dad. Good night." Yeah, it was awesome. Anyway, Forrest Miller is here from Movie Night Extravaganza. What's up, Forrest?
Hi, Forrest.
Hello.
What's going on? Yeah, you guys have had Christina on, so now you got to have me on, and then you got to have Conan on because he's gonna complain about it if you don't, and then you got to have Andy on because he'll
Absolutely.
want to tag along.
We'll have them all on.
The entire, I haven't seen Andrea since we talked about the Muppets. We did a Muppets episode on Movie Night Extravaganza.
That was a good ep.
Yeah.
Here's the deal.
And then we went live on the after party, and we started doing Muppet Smash or Pass, where we were deciding which Muppets we would smash with Ravana.
Wow.
It was probably the greatest. It was probably the greatest bit we've come up with on an after party.
Unacceptable, frankly.
That's awesome.
The acceptability was
We should have like one person on the show, and then like of those who are left, and then the other like just randomly pick like Conan and aggressively not have him on left past 10. Like have him be on all of our other shows, but never left past 10.
I want to bring.
Maybe start some drama.
He will take such personal offense to that it won't even be. It won't even be funny. It will just. I don't know.
We should.
He was already convinced. He was already convinced that for a while, Matt was drawing these pictures of all like the left commentators because he's not technically a left commentator, he's technically a music commentator. Matt forgot to draw him, and he decided that was personal, and then he needed Matt to draw him. So I feel like if you guys do that, that'll be like a strike 2 situation. And he liked
What happened?
So.
What happened was I drew this massive picture based on recommendations. And people were calling out names, and then somebody said, "Oh, you could put these together because they're on a show." And I was like, "Okay." And no one said, "Oh, and also you're leaving out one guy who's on that show with them." And it was like, I really wish that hadn't happened. But anyway, then I had a whole episode where I drew him exclusively. I tried to make up for it. He's a great guy.
So it's like you've squashed the beef, you've toned it down. There's no longer a beef, and then if you guys left him off your panel show, that would reignite the beef. And once you reignite the beef, it's not like it gets better the second time, right? Like it gets worse.
Right.
We have been looking to start a war with another show. We've tried it a couple times with a couple other shows. Hasn't really taken off yet, so maybe we can start a war with Movie Night.
Majority Report hates me. They hate me. They want me in the ground.
They want you dead?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Have
Have you heard any of this?
They want you dead.
No, I haven't heard any of this. Is this real? Is this a real thing that you think
this is real. The goddamn heart attack. You're gonna pass out. Are you smelling toast right now? It's
Check
over.
this out. Check this out.
Letterhack is it's a good guy. It's a good show.
See, so that's how Sam is passive aggressive. But then
I can't wait to send the Letterhack a cease and desist about John from San Antonio.
Oh, this rich trust fund baby, ivory tower.
You're poaching on this turd.
It's
You're having Majority Report callers on. You can't do that.
check this out. Check this out.
What's the matter? Letterhack's not streaming right now?
Ooh, burn.
What was that little like curl on the page thing? Play that clip again. What was that like little edit?
What's the matter?
be on,
Letterhack's not streaming right now?
Ooh, burn. It's called a
Did you do
fade-
that?
A fade in.
Yeah.
It's a fade
You
in.
added that? Like you chose
uh,
the top left corner? That was
Mhm.
important?
No, I was clicking all the different video transitions,
I see.
Yeah.
and I like that one. I don't know why.
Oh, I forgot. What did you say you used for your videos again, Matt? What program?
I get
Adobe.
scissors and glue and a soldering iron, and
Okay.
it's not easy, but
All right.
you see the results. No, I
Yeah.
use a Adobe Premiere.
Okay. Yeah, I've been saying I want to try different things.
It's expensive and it's not like intuitive at all.
I use
Oh, there's
Shotcut,
Conan.
which is free.
There's
Neither
Conan.
is
That's awesome.
neither
Conan
is
Neutron.
Pro.
Wait,
I
you
use
just
the
you
Mac.
have a picture of Conan ready to go.
It's
really gonna
on
watch
his jacket.
So you're really gonna walk into this beef, huh? Like,
Be careful.
Well, here's where I think it gets humorous. When I say aggressively not have him on the show, I mean have him on the show all the time in every way except just asking him to be a guest. Have him haunt the show.
Oh, make him
Yeah,
our
it's-
logo.
Yeah.
Redo the intro
wait,
with
has he
all
ne-
him.
And then just play dumb. Be like, oh, has he not been a guest? Who have we had on? Oh, everybody but him?
But he is like the coolest, nicest guy in
Yeah,
the
the-
world. Like when
the
I had him
problem
on my
is-
show, I was like, this guy's amazingly right on about pretty much
Yeah.
everything.
And the problem is then we're denied having a lovely guest on. Like we
we'll
actually
have him
lose
on.
out
We'll have
in
him on.
that.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm
But
sure.
you gotta do the behind the scenes, the BTS work, and you gotta be like, all right, we're gonna beef with you. Can we beef with you? But then you kind of feel just silly. You're like, everyone's gonna know that this is a fake beef. If you want to just
Yeah,
jump into
all-
it, you gotta take what comes from it. And I don't know if you want what comes from that
The
beef.
people I really don't like, we just don't talk about. There's going to be no controversy about when we're going to have Steven Crowder on here. Like
Is that
I
happening?
mean, there's people
No.
on the left we won't have on here. Well, I always say like I've had over 100 guests.
Wow.
You kind of see who I haven't had on. It's either they haven't replied or I haven't asked them. But that
oh, is that why you took my video down?
no, but that's getting like easier and easier to determine who I haven't asked. But anyway, whatever.
I don't even know how many guests I've interviewed in 7 years. I've never even looked at the playlist or counted. That's funny.
I stopped counting because I was
Yeah,
like, okay.
You could stop counting after the first one, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Who was that, Andrea?
He kind of hit it out of the park to
Some
start.
idiot.
Andrea.
Andrea was like, if you're gonna do interviews, I got to be your Bill Murray, first and very last ever. So before I retire. Okay. Hey,
You do a clip show?
And that's not a bad idea. Okay. There was big, huge news this week. It's kind of
Was
wild
there?
it's kind of wild. Nobody's talking about this.
Are we talking about Trump raping children? Is that what we're talking about?
Oh, please.
No.
I am so tired of
Okay.
all of it.
Bigger.
I can't
Bigger.
see bigger.
Forrest got a tetanus shot.
Oh.
Yo.
Oh.
For the
Did that
first time
go?
in a while, I realized I
What?
haven't had a tetanus shot since I was in college. But
Oh,
Were you
man.
going
that long.
swimming in rusty water?
Yeah, here it was on
Oh.
Instagram.
Look at his eyes. Oh my God. Look at your eyes.
so I
Oh,
picked the
please.
worst time.
He's-
I picked the worst time to walk right onto a fucking rusty nail because it was like 4th of July weekend and everything
Oh,
was closed.
shit.
So like I was trying to
No.
I was trying to like fucking find an urgent care to go to or whatever. And I'm terrified
Yeah.
of needles.
Does the
but they were all
tetanus shot
closed when I
hurt?
woke up. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
I don't
like if you
remember
don't, you gotta move your arm around. I guess I got out of really feeling too much from it because like
Wow.
I went like this a bunch afterwards and it worked. I got the tetanus juices flowing.
Fair enough. Good lord.
I don't know. I remember those being pretty painful.
I don't even remember having the
I avoid rust, generally speaking.
Yeah. Rust never sleeps.
See, I get my tetanus shot every year like on the calendar specifically
Every year.
so I can enjoy Rust-based snacks.
Oh, stop! You just
You can enjoy the movie. So you can enjoy the movie Rust.
Yeah, so I can enjoy the movie Rust, play the game Rust, and chew on nails. You know.
Oh, I
And so
just
Alec
watched.
Baldwin, so Alec
Without
Baldwin
any
doesn't
milk.
come after you. You know.
I just saw.
Ooh.
Want that apparently, but I just saw Civil War. Alex Garland.
Oh yeah.
I've been avoiding the Movie Night Extravaganza episode about that. You did it, right?
We haven't done it, and I actually avoided watching it because we've talked
you
about it.
did.
'Cause everyone else saw it, but we've done every other Alex Garland movie. I just felt like it was gonna be bad. Well,
Did you do
maybe not
Devs?
as bad as everyone was saying it was gonna be, but I don't know.
It looked like it
Devs
had
was
some
great.
useful themes. Devs,
Okay.
I didn't. What's that about?
Oh, Devs
a
is
show.
phenomenal.
It's a series he did. It's on Hulu with Nick Offerman and some other. It's very good. It's Devs is short for what? Development.
Developers, I assume.
Yeah,
like-
something
yeah.
like that. But it's like a
It's
tech
like
guy who
15
has
entendre layers of fucking
ultra
titles.
secret development stuff. And anyway,
Oh, wait, yeah, I remember.
so I won't spoil Civil War. I loved it. I didn't want it to end. I thought it was perfect, and I rarely say that. It was great. And it's funny because I saw a couple of movies this week that I just loved, and that was one of them. I watched two series. I've been watching a lot of stuff this week, but I also saw Mosul. Have you seen this? It's Iraqi.
No, I've
I'm a
not seen
fish
that
out of
one.
water tonight. I probably haven't seen anything.
Well,
Hmm.
this one's on Netflix. You can watch it. It's great. There's a police force called SWAT that goes block by block taking out ISIS, and it's based on true events. And I was like, yeah, I'll check this out.
I have to
10
make-
minutes in,
Love
I was
watching
texting my
ISIS get
brother,
taken
you got to
down."
watch this. I just thought it was awesome.
All right, what's it called? I have to put it in my notes.
MOSUL.
Okay, gotcha.
Wait, so I want to hear your Civil War take, because I've heard, like, I've read people's reviews of it. I've heard of what people said about it. I didn't feel like it was gonna be for me, and I felt like I was gonna get pissed off by it, and then everyone was gonna get disappointed that I was pissed off by it, or I was gonna go too far fucking reviewing it. My thing about Alex Garland is that I feel like he has no like connection to the United States. Like that's why everyone was talking about like how Texas and California team up, and they're like, well, that would never happen in the Civil War. But it's like he couldn't even like not bother, but like he got annoyed enough, I guess, filming in like Georgia for 3 weeks that he moved to the production of the movie back to England, which he produces everything in England. He produced Annihilation. The whole thing's supposed to be in Florida, but it's like 20 minutes from London is where they filmed it.
They don't go into like details. They don't give you he doesn't try to reason why this is happening. It's happening. And the events depicted to me felt very real and or probably gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like very like there's no reason why this stuff I was watching couldn't happen. And I'm not saying it was like a training video, but like I feel like everyone is sort of bracing themselves for the possibility that it could happen. And this just made that feel a little bit more real. So the movie was doing things that I connected with as an American, but there was an element to it that I thought was very clever. I'm not even, you know what? I'm not even sure clever is right because it might not be totally intentional, but like we fucking have cameras everywhere all the time now, right? Like sometimes I see clips on TikTok and whatever, and I'm like, but wait, who's filming this? Who's doing the filming right now? Does somebody just always have a fucking phone like this recording?
I mean,
so
yeah.
I felt
Always be filming.
I felt like there was an element to this that even 10 years ago we would have been like, well, that's not realistic. But right now it's like that would totally happen. So just combining like journalism with war. I mean,
the second something happens, people whip their phones out.
I am all over my place, property.
So I thought it was great.
Wildlife.
I'm glad they didn't try to say, here's why California and Texas team. They don't even really connect it that way. But anyway, it was more chaos than logic, and I thought that played very true. But
Well, he's
like,
very
I feel like I'm
deliberate.
spoiling it.
right? Like
My understanding is
slower
it's more about war than civil war. Like they use a civil war as a premise, but my understand I haven't seen it, but my understanding is that it's more about war in general. Like that sniper scene wherein they're essentially trying to get down to the why of trying to shoot this guy, and he's like, because he's trying to shoot me, and that's like I've heard enough about the film that I went from having absolutely no interest whatsoever because I thought it was just tragedy exploitation to thinking, yeah, I'll give it a look.
I don't think it was that.
Pirates at Sea.
I like all of his other stuff. Like Ex Machina was really good.
Annihilation.
Yeah.
Hey,
Annihilation.
Forrest,
Oh shoot.
do you guys ever review chick flicks?
I mean, it depends.
They'll do anything.
Reviewing fair, but yeah, we'll do anything.
I'll have to
You
think
guys-
of one and send you a request.
Here's my suggestion: literally anything by Meg Ryan.
You can pull one out with Christina.
with Meg
I bet she'll have ideas for
Okay.
chick flick to.
We did Barbie. Is that a chick flick?
We've done Barbie.
Yeah, Barbie.
Yeah, that
We
counts.
were all
That
over that.
definitely
We were all
counts.
over the
I guess
Barbie.
that
We were all
counts.
over Barbenheimer weekend, which apparently was Barbenheimer happened 1 year ago now. I guess I just got a notification or whatever, like on memories or whatever on Facebook, where it was like you're
The
making
anniversary.
Barbenheimer memes 1 year ago. Yeah.
That's cool.
Wild, man. Absolutely wild.
but
I think that counts.
In Civil War, right? Like Jesse Plemons steals the show, from what I've heard in that
Always.
one.
Salt.
And I just watched Kinds of Kindness, which batshit fucking crazy movie. It's Yorgos Lanthimos, the guy that did Poor Things, and he did The Favorite, and he did The Lobster.
Dogtooth.
Yeah, that movie.
I'm writing these all down so I know
it's
what
like
to
an
watch.
anthology. It's like a 3-hour long anthology, and it's like Jesse Plemons, Emma Stone, Willem Dafoe, Margaret Qualley. They're all like, each time they play different roles, and the
What's
entire
it
thing is Kinds of Kindness.
Okay, I got it.
It's,
All right.
it's genuinely one of the most insane movies I've ever seen, and pretty horrifying at times. And yeah, we reviewed it for like an episode last Friday, I guess. But like, I don't know, that movie had me having like a panic attack in the movie theater.
Yeah, I heard that if you don't like animals being
God.
harmed,
Oh,
like,
well,
don't watch
forget
it.
it.
Oh, I
Is that a
can't.
thing?
Yep. Can't
Yeah,
do
it was. There was
Yeah.
one scene of that was really hard for me to watch because I
Yeah.
have my beautiful, nice
Yeah.
dog sleeping behind me that
No,
demands
but-
to be in the room whenever
But
I'm streaming.
Civil War is Kirsten Dunst movie through and through. She was amazing.
She's
I
good.
thought that
I
was,
like
and
her.
everybody was good though. It was
I'm writing
great.
all this stuff down. Now, do you
There's
yeah.
they weren't originally going to cast Jesse Plemons, right? She's like, cast my husband in this for a scene.
They were good in
Clemens-
Fargo.
Do you guys
Clemens
actually
is like the
go to
new Gary
movie-
Oldman. What now?
Do you go to the movie theaters?
No, not me.
I mean, depending, not as much as I should. But I went to go see Kind of Kindness, and there was no AC. It was like one of the hottest days, and the air was terrible. There was
God.
they
Ooh.
somehow turned off the AC. I think it was a conspiracy that they were trying to. But the whole movie was deeply uncomfortable, and just not having air conditioning in the movie theater just added to that. And I was like,
Where do you live? How hot was it? Are you in the south, north,
it's
east,
been-
west?
It's been well. I live in the Northeast. I live in New York, but it's pretty.
Oh, well, me too.
We've been having like a specific heat.
Mhm.
Heat
I know.
up here.
I'm in Western New York. We had
See,
the
I'm in,
tornado watches today.
I'm in upstate, but like not that far upstate, like the Mid Hudson Valley.
Right. I'm from Westchester, and then I lived in Rockland, then I lived in Orange. I mean, I made my way up, and then I came to Erie County. So we are fellow New Yorkers, and the Equal Rights Amendment is on the ballot. Very important. If you don't want to vote for anybody else, vote for the Equal Rights Amendment in New York State. Thank you.
I didn't know that
Speaking
we didn't already vote for that. Like,
It's on the
Yeah,
ballot. Yes. I'll get you guys information and send it to you. But we don't have to
Check it
talk about
out. Speaking of upstate New York,
Mhm.
look at that guy. That's Sandy's backyard.
Yeah, I was on my trail cam today. and that's right by my greenhouse. And
Do they have a name? Are you
for
familiar
the
with
bear?
the person?
It's
Yes.
it's a black bear. No,
Yeah,
I'm
but
not.
you don't name him. Look, he's like sauntering. Look, he's like, hey.
He's
He's
pissed
like,
because I keep my
"Where's everybody?"
garbage in the shed. It's in plastic containers in the garbage shed, and he can't get in there.
He's like, I thought Summerfest was going on.
You ever
They're
think about
coming
how
here."
crazy it is that we, as a species, so we have this garbage, and then we wrap it in plastic,
Right.
and
No,
then we tie it
I
up, and we give it to other people. We
I
just
have
wrap
to
all
put
of our garbage in
no, I use
And
paper
we
bags,
want to
but
make
I
sure that
have
animals
to
don't
put
get
it.
it.
Well, I have to put it in a plastic garbage can in a shed. I have to go to the dump. I don't have a garbage pickup. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing back there. I've seen the scat and I seen the footprints the other day, and I was like, I'm back here. I'm kind of like, I don't have any bear spray. I really don't feel like being eaten by oh, look at we have Mr. Yellow now.
Indeed. I'm sorry. When you said I was seeing the scat, I did, like, after a half second, I understood you were talking about trail evidence of a bear. Yeah.
Right.
But for a
I
second, I was just
photographed it.
imagining it's the middle of the night. You're on your back porch looking into the woods, into the darkness, and you just hear like skinny pop up doo
No,
grizzly.
I
You gotta-
photographed
you gotta-
all the different kind of shit on the property.
Oh God.
You gotta close your garbage so that you don't get, raided by the scat man.
I'm
Yes.
telling you. No, it's locked. That my shed is locked. And
He brings a lock pick with him.
Yeah,
And
right.
it's like he actually just he scats so that like you don't hear the lock pick going and he breaks into your garbage.
I just like the idea of you hear it in the distance though, like
right.
That's
And you're like, we got to go inside.
Cartoon. Make that cartoon. Make it a cartoon.
We got to go inside right now, you guys.
Yeah.
Did
well,
you hear
last
that?
year.
Scooty Debop.
Yeah, right. I hear Scooter. Or yeah, last year I went to get my mail in my pajamas, and I'm walking back, and I'm just ready to go to the greenhouse. I'm standing there, and there's a bear right next to the greenhouse looking at me. I was like, holy shit. I went in so fast because I thought, well, being eaten in your pajamas, what's worse? God.
well,
It's a good question.
I mean, probably being eaten in like a formal suit, right? Like, or like
Yeah,
being
but I
eaten
would-
in something
in both
uncomfortable.
cases. In both cases,
A
I say
yellow
it depends
suit,
entirely on the company.
oh shit. Oh my
Well,
god.
I feel like being eaten in like leather pants. Like
Yeah,
if
there
it's
you
hot
go.
outside, you're sweating
Yeah.
and you're sweating while you're getting eaten. You're like, oh man, this is terrible in multiple ways. Like
Sexy leather pants,
AC
though. They're
Clarity gets it.
sexy. I love leather pants. I had lots of leather pants in the day.
I wouldn't want to be eaten in any clothes. I'm just gonna. I know it's a hot take, but
Well, come visit.
If you're gonna
I'll
eat me
put you
alive,
outside, and
disrobe
we'll
me
wait for-
first.
We'll wait for this.
Oh, alive.
All right, now we've.
I mean, do you want to be eaten dead? You want to just like a quick bite
So
in the neck?
Well,
Just
he's
end it
I've
all?
been
actually-
seeing
he's
I've been
actually-
seeing scat that I think is bear scat down the road. There's these like mulberry kind of blackberry trees, and there's been kind of scat at the bottom of them, and I'm pretty sure it's from like a small bear.
Is it?
But
I know the sizes. I mean, we can talk about all the difference. It's called copperology. That's the science of shit. Copperology. There are scientists that are actually copperologists, and they examine what's in it.
yeah, I remember going on a field trip in school, and that one of the
Yeah.
things on the field trip was like they had a bunch of different scats, and they were like, these are the kinds
Yeah.
of scat. And I was like, you guys are really not paying a lot for these field trips, huh?
Well, you know who lives on your property. You know. I mean, I do.
Yeah.
Okay, I have there's been a couple of requests from the chat
Okay. I have
to
an
talk
email.
about politics. And I mean, like, hello, this show is literally about everything and anything. So it's bound to come up. But if you guys want, I kind of have a question that I could just throw out to the group.
I'd rather you throw it in.
I had a question that I wanted to throw out to you guys first.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna put you guys I'm gonna switch it up, put you guys on the hot spot. Do you guys think that Biden's gonna stay in the race, or do you think that he's going to step aside? And I don't know, you guys all like pay attention probably more than I do. So.
Yes. I don't want to.
I think
Yes.
well, I'll just go quickly because I'm long-winded. Let me just try and get this out of the way briefly.
All right,
First of all,
Go
it
for it.
should not be lost on anyone that the term cognitive decline has only been used so commonly in the last few years because of
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
presidents of the United
God,
States.
true.
The both
It's-
of them.
We wouldn't be using that sentence every day, all day, if not for Trump and Biden. So that has to mean something. But I also think that for me personally, I just want to say it's not about age. It's about things that can happen at that age that should be taken seriously. And the vigor of the role of the president would only accelerate any sort of decline, cognitive
Right.
decline. And so therefore I say, let him off the hook. Not he should do the right thing, because if we need to let him off the hook, how would he know he needs to do the right thing? So yes, I do think it's going to happen. I'm not so key to whether it should or not. Because I've heard arguments on all
Good
sides
point.
of why it should or shouldn't, or you know what, people go, how dare they fill in the fucking blank? How dare they say you should quit? How dare they say you should stay in? And to me, it's like, well, okay, everyone's kind of making good arguments. Don't argue with each other about it.
Right.
But if I had to make a prediction, I would say whoever's running this shit show is gonna see that he does step aside.
Will
You guys want to do it
Mamala
clockwise
a la Emma? Emma would like Mamala.
for the Aussies? Do you guys want to do it clockwise? Because I got
Yeah, go ahead, Jake.
unusual thoughts on this.
Unusual.
Normally,
Much like
Yes.
Biden, you have unusual.
normally I would have I'd have the balls to say
The
like
balls.
yes or no and just gamble, even if it's 51% that I think. But just to give you an honest assessment, I truly think it could go either way. He might not. And the reason I'm not so, because I do think it's that close. But I want to stress that I think it is Biden. It's not a matter of thinking. It's the fact is, it is Biden's decision. Nobody can make him. So it really will come down to his whim.
I disagree. 25th Amendment. They literally could make him.
They could make him not be the president with the 25th Amendment. They could not make him not be the nominee with the 25th.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
still.
you can,
My
technically
point
speaking,
is, my point, the more important point. Let me. If we want to disagree over that, fine. But I think it's more important to say the thing that all this reveals is the passion of people who don't want Trump in office.
Well,
The people who are saying
I don't.
the people who are saying Biden must stay, and the people who are saying Biden must go, the people who care about it and are making a big deal, largely are just people who are desperate not to have Trump there. And Biden was always going to run a campaign that was the same as the 2020 campaign, and rightly so. It's not about him, it's about Trump. In fact, it's not about whoever the Democratic nominee is, it's just that they are not Trump. So even though this is very scary for a lot of folks, and I understand, I think this is all a good sign. This tells me what the passion of the anti-Trump faction is. The anti-Trump faction collectively is strong. Those are my thoughts.
Okay.
Andrea, what do you think? Is he
Yeah.
staying or going?
Go ahead,
Well,
Rovensky.
First of all, he should go. He should get the hell out of here. Get this fucking guy, like get him on a fish hook and just like swing him out the fucking stage left, okay?
Those
Stage right,
old-timey-
whichever one. I don't give a shit. Swing him out both stages so he rips apart in the middle. I don't care, okay? That's what should happen. Is that gonna happen? Probably not. I think now this is something that's interesting. I'm gonna throw this angle at everyone. Couple days ago, the second man, what do they call him? Gentleman or just man? Is he the second
Gentleman.
man?
Doug M. Hoff.
So he tested positive for COVID. So the theory is that Joe Biden is having COVID-induced dementia. And now I have this theory. This is a theory. He's been publicly diagnosed with COVID twice that I know of. During the debate, it came out he had a cold.
Yeah, right.
Ooh.
You know,
So
wait a
I
minute.
think if he's going to be continuing the campaign, he's going to get it again. He's going to pass out. He's going to croak any
Jesus
minute
Christ.
now. I just
Well,
hope
then-
it's sooner than August, whatever, 20 something.
Did Mamala test positive?
No.
I didn't read for that. All I saw is the second man.
Wow, this is a.
Is the
Do
first
you
man
think-
Joe Biden? Is he the first man?
No, it's the.
Second gentleman.
The first man is Hunter Biden.
Well, Biden's old enough to be one of the first men. Sorry. Ageism.
Literally one of the first.
Thing is, I'm old,
like-
so I can make these jokes. Yeah.
The texture's
Kamala
not
is,
found
like,
on
kind of
Jake's
person-
suit there.
Kamala is definitely the kind of person who carries around like an oversized hand sanitizer, like everywhere she goes. Like, I can
Yes,
see
she
her
is.
just, like pulling that out and being like, and then being like, "Look, I'm the first person to not catch COVID."
What do
I
you
have
think,
a theory,
Sandy?
by the way.
What do
Oh,
I
go ahead.
think? Oh, go ahead, Jack. Jake.
But very quickly, my theory is this: in America, a shorthand for telling who's going to win the election, almost every time, is who is easier to do an impression of. So going by that
Folks.
measure, going by that measure, Biden's just shot way up because it's so easy to go.
Mhm.
Well, you could just, I mean, if you be Biden, you could just scat at this point.
Folks, Scoobity Bebop. I'm the guy.
Beep-bop,
I'm
corn
the
pop.
guy who
Started
did
something
Scoobity
there.
Bebop.
I'm the
guy
who's giving me
That was me.
Boopity-boppity-boop-a.
I was bopping with all of them back then. Corn
guy
Pop
over
was there
here.
too.
This guy over
Corn
here,
pop.
skibbity beep bop boop bop bop. You know.
They'd be like,
Anyway, that's my time.
Corn pop.
Sandy, I'm sorry I derailed us.
Oh,
What do you
that's
think?
fine.
Is he staying or going?
Okay, well, considering I did my show about post-Trump last night and how to live in a fascist, how to live in a
That was terrifying.
dictatorship,
Top 10 ways to survive.
Right. I am now, remember we've all talked about what happens if Trump wins again. Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm focusing on, how to survive, how to make it in a world of Project 2025. But I'll at this point, I'm going to tell you, I've really stepped back from the Biden. It's a shit show. It's a shit show all over the place. I can't do it. So I'm stepping back. I will vote for whoever the fuck is not Trump and hope that for the best. I am now planning. I'm going to date a conservative farmer.
I was talking to some friends of mine who.
I did already. I went out on a date with a conservative farmer.
Nice.
Oh god.
I'm looking
I
forward to
can
hearing about
hide.
them.
Post Trump, I can hide.
I was talking to two friends of mine separately
Yeah.
who aren't tuned in. These are the folks that may catch the local news or CNN.
All right.
They're great guys. They haven't chosen a side, And
It's like the
I
uncontacted
said,
tribes in fucking
Wait,
Brazil.
Right.
guys in South Carolina that
no,
just
no,
tune in to,
one
oh,
in
okay.
from Maryland, one in Maryland, one in Florida. And I said, so what do you think about Biden? Have you been watching the news? And they're like, dude, it's over. What is he doing? Why is he up there? Why are they
Oh,
letting
boy.
him do this? And they're not putting it on him. They're putting on everyone around him.
Jill Biden.
Right. And then here's what they both said. And this was unsolicited. I didn't ask about this. The conversation, I was just letting them go, and this is where they ended up. And they said, do you know what the most shocking thing is? They both said this separately. The most shocking thing about politics right now is the number of people who would actually vote for Trump.
Yeah.
Like,
Good.
that's the scariest fucking thing
Good.
to people who aren't like us, sitting here looking for nuance and talking about it all the time. They're like, it's shocking that we have that many people in the country who are like, no, he's
That's so good to
he's
hear.
Well, they
better
don't
than a president. He
understand.
should be king.
They
or
don't
whatever.
understand well, he should be king because then they don't have to think. They don't have to do anything. They think that they idolize what they don't know. They've been
Well,
fed.
it's just crazy that many
so much
people
stuff.
are on board with somebody who's so clearly
A
Did you
while
guys-
back, though.
Tony.
By the way, did
Foxy-
you guys?
Oh, go ahead.
Well,
I was
did
just
you
gonna say-
listen to the Dark Matters 2025 guy? did you listen to that video I shared with you? He did the best analysis of the Constitution versus the 10 Commandments ever, and everybody should listen to it. And that's the argument we have to make with those people, is just explain to them, because this appealed to, it was for anyone. It was so articulate, so good.
The other day, Fox, a little while back, Foxy, a longtime viewer of the program, was talking about that exact dynamic, that the people we seriously need to be focusing on are the people who don't watch this stuff all the time. I can't tell you how good it is to hear that they were freaked out that people were even considering voting for Trump. That's that. If you were to ask me what the best thing I could hear that one of them thought, it would be that. Good. Because that's, by the way, totally correct. That's a perfect assessment. Way to go.
But on the other side of it, right? Like, I've been freaked out by how many people I've seen on Facebook or whatever that seem to think that the calculus of who they should vote for or who they support comes down to things were cheaper when Trump, like, never mind the fact that COVID spending happened, and you know that, like, inflation is a result of a mixture between, like, price gouging and the amount of COVID spending and the amount of money they put in circulation, like, you know, during COVID because they had to, and the pandemic, like, all of these different things, right? Like, they seem to think the calculus is things were cheaper when Trump was president, gas was cheaper than when Trump was president, and so I should vote for Trump. And that kind of, it's like, do you think that the president is just sitting there with, like, a bunch of prices? And apparently they do.
Well, you have
They
to
think
understand,
that,
most
you know,
Americans are just, they have fucking brain damage. They're dumber than dog shit. Anyone that votes based on gas prices might as well drive their fucking gas-powered car off a cliff. They're dumber than anything you'd ever seen before. You ever see the fucking gas pumps with, I did that, Joe Biden pointed his fucking fingers? Like, Jesus.
I love those.
What the
fuck? We're energy independent.
There's one it's like at the Storts near Sadie. Do you have Stort? You've seen you've been to Storts, right? The gas station in New York. They have so the Storts is like down the street from my house. Storks. There's one that has like the price of it's like this really weird sign. It's like a guy in a chicken outfit with a bunch of eggs, and it's like advertising that their eggs are cheaper. And then somebody put a Biden sticker that says, I did that, pointing at the chicken.
We don't have
Biden fucked the chicken.
Is
that what I'm getting at?
We don't have it in Western New York, but
Joe Biden barely fucked a guy in a chicken outfit. It's not even like it's the creepiest sign.
Nobody is talking about all of the stuff that's come out about what a loser and a creep Trump is, from, you know, the Epstein stuff, and
how he's raping little kids,
and how he is so inarticulate. And when he is articulate, he's reading, if he talks to like Sean Hannity or whatever, you know, he just repeats the same, his thing is the same shtick. He says the same things, same talking points over and over and over.
If he becomes president again, this is what I think he does with immunity. He allows Project 2025 to just go. Right? He just hits go, and that happens, and he'll brag about things that satisfy billionaires, like tax cuts and whatever. He's only in office for deals he can make that he will profit from. Yeah. He's playing golf, or he's doing constant rallies and becomes like closer to a fascist leader, that sort of figure, than we've ever seen before. Because this man is doing rallies like every friggin' day, and it's going to come down. It is whoever these people are who are backing him, it will create a fervor. It will be
Nazi Germany.
He won't have to do anything except point and just insinuate that something should happen, and they'll go for it, and then he'll use his immunity to just be like, wasn't me. Right?
Yeah, that's I think that's, you know, probably what he sees himself doing. Although it is pretty funny to have like our version of like a Mussolini or like a Hitler or something, like a 280-pound morbidly obese man in like his 80s. And it's just like,
well, he's been on Ozempic. Have you seen the new Trump? He is slim.
But it's just like, how long can this guy? I think he did a course of Ozempic when he was at Mar-a-Lago or whatever.
But that's dangerous. Like, he's gonna die.
I hope. We can only hope.
He's gonna die either way. He's like an old man.
Yeah,
like we have two separate guys that are running, that they're both just insanely elderly old men. Like, it's kind of crazy. I was reading like Boleslav Zubak's book on the collapse of the Soviet Union a while back, and like one of the things they pointed out, like right before the Soviet Union collapsed, like right before Gorbachev got in there as like a younger guy, like what they had was just old people, like old guy,
Yeah,
old guy.
sure. That's how it.
Like
That's how
it just
power.
feels like any kind of empire that collapses, like we're in the stage of like early decline, cognitive decline, and early decline. When it's like really the best two people that you can get to run a country are like these two elderly men that have cognitive problems.
Have you read this?
Have you read this? I haven't.
Well, I'm listening. It's 55 hours, but you should probably. It's really interesting. The decline of the West, and he's from the 30s writing, and I'm on a history thing. You probably like it, judging from what I'm learning about you.
I'm interested. If you want to send me the name
I
and the
will.
title.
I will.
But yeah, like it's just kind of amazing. Like it's these two guys that are about to be 80, and then even with Bernie, who I think is mentally younger than both of them, it's still a guy in his 80s. Like it feels like we can't get new blood into any kind of position of power. It's like they all step back. These guys that are literally should be in a home. Like all of them should be in a home. They should not be running a government. They should be like retired.
Right.
Like they should be having fun.
Well, that's the thing. Why do all these old people? It's like, okay, I'm old. I can say this, but why is it that when all of my friends are dying to retire, everybody's retiring, these people like George Latimer fucking run for Congress at 70? I was so pissed. That whole thing, I was very involved, and I'm very, very pissed about Jamal Bowman and George Latimer is 70 years old, and all
there is
of
an answer.
them.
The answer is that we're not asking them to not run for a job. We're asking them by not running to cease being nobility in all but like literal name in America. So why would you cease being a duke? You never would. You'd hold on to it as long as you possibly can. All you have to do is show up, sit down, toss in a vote, and you get bribed. You get free stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. And the reason they're able to do that is because of the oligarchy we live in right now, which is, to tie into an earlier point, a result of Americans being selfish to the point of hurting their own self-interest, ironically. So we will vote to save ourselves $5, even if it means we take away $500 from someone who's a little bit poorer than us, not realizing that the overall detriment we're doing to our own lifestyle is going to cost way more than the $5 we save, or even the $500 we fail to give to the poorer person.
It just always trips me out to remember that Dianne Feinstein was older than chocolate chip cookies.
Oh God.
Good.
Oh my Lord.
You see what I'm saying? It's like, and sold like something like a $9 million Aspen vacation home. Like, oh, so you're not even planning on taking vacations anymore. Why are you still working? This is insane.
If I had a $9 million vacation home and I was like 87 million years old, you know what I would be doing? I'd be like fucking in the vacation home, and I'd be walking around and I don't know, vacationing, I guess.
Okay, they had like tours and hamburgers. That's all I'd be doing.
Pelosi's daughter, like wheeling Dianne Feinstein into the Senate. Like it's not even like Pelosi's fucking old herself. Like these old people are literally like instigating other old people.
My thing with these though is that they should be advisors and not in the role of the decision maker. They should be advisors because of their experience to younger candidates who are in office, advisory positions. Because
I feel that way about directors, movie directors like Scorsese. Stop making them. Just
all right.
Pass the torch.
No.
Okay.
I'm on Forrest's side. What the fuck? Let's beat this fucker up. What is this guy talking about over here in his tracksuit ass? Like, what the fucking?
I'm just kidding.
Going on?
Look, here's a question I think is interesting. I heard
Coppola like selling his vineyard off to make Megapolis or whatever. Like, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know.
I think that's like taking a guitar to the pawn shop.
Before.
He'll buy it back. Good. But here's the thing.
Sold off the wine to make a movie that people are saying they're giving mixed reviews to.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's a risk. Here I heard you know the Good Liars?
Oh
You know
yeah,
those
they're
guys?
good.
Okay.
I have ripped their shit.
They
Decent
were
liars. They could
they were
lie a little
going-
better.
They were going around asking people at Trump rallies, when was America great again? Like, which version are you trying to make again? And they're like, I think like, early
They want to make it like
50s.
1830, but without the racism.
See, so that's
well-
what they always say. So what do you mean, like before the civil rights era? And they're like, no, well, we shouldn't do that part again. And it's like, well, what are you talking about? Because it wasn't great. So if you're saying make it great again, that's a little too literal. So what do you
Yeah, it
guys think would
wasn't
be the
great.
greatest? Like, if you had to pick an era, what's the greatest or decade?
2019.
Fuck.
It's all downhill
actually
from there.
pretty good. Pretty good. Hashtag me too.
The week right before COVID.
The week before
Yeah.
COVID.
It's
No, but
never been the
seriously.
same.
I mean, America shouldn't be this. If anything, it's this thing that's like evolving, and it's what is it currently old enough to
Right.
drink? That's what they say America is. It's like that
Here's
21-year-old.
I would do
America first.
1970. And the reason why is you still have pretty decently high tax rates
Yeah.
for the richest. Everybody's
Yeah.
got a right to vote, but fortunately Kennedy's dead. So
Right.
I just wanted to say something that would really annoy.
Wow, so before
lot of
Star
lefties.
Wars, okay.
Oh, never
I'm-
mind.
I
All right,
hear
yeah,
you.
no.
I hear-
Wait,
No,
they-
I take and I actually love JFK. I don't know why I just for no reason chose to throw a tomato at a beloved American president.
I prefer
no.
Kennedys who do not eat dogs, personally.
I
I
put
was- well, I was
something in
gonna
there
say- I
in
was gonna say-
Discord for you.
I was gonna say Kennedy's a great president because he died. I prefer presidents who didn't die. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I like
For the
presidents.
record,
I like presidents who didn't die. Yeah.
the original version of that
Goddamn
joke, which I
Trump.
didn't have the courage to say, was 1910 because we had very high tax rates for the rich. Black people could vote, but women couldn't. But I chickened out,
Women.
and instead I did the Kennedy thing, which just it didn't hit as hard, so it wasn't as
Well,
clear.
I mean, look, women be voting. It is
Oh,
true.
Am I
No,
right,
I'm
people?
good.
Women be voting.
I am a suffragette. I don't actually stand by most of the things I say.
Could black people vote in 19? I don't think they could. Not in most like.
Not
that's
practically,
why
no.
Yeah, that's why they launched.
They could if they tried hard enough.
But are they talking about the 80s? When they say make America great again, are they talking about the 80s and Reagan?
they-
And
Well,
is it
yeah,
that
because
super
Trump was at Studio 54 snorting up his brains in coke. You kidding?
I
mean,
think they
yeah.
are talking about that era. Like I think they
No,
don't.
I'll tell you what they're talking about. They are talking about the 1940s and 50s, right after World War II. 2 cars in every garage, a chicken in every pot. That was the saying. They had women were still staying home. The feminist movement hadn't started yet. Men were going to work. They could afford one paycheck, and the suburbs were starting, the white suburbs. Everybody was going to church on Sundays, and there was no movement against nothing. So that's
good
what
answer.
they want. That's
a
what
good
they
answer.
want.
Yeah. And to add on to that, I think that answer touches on the core of what we're talking about. Because I was going to say something similar, but just with the 80s. What they want is an America that never existed. But they want the rest of us, those of us who see it for what it is, and especially those of us who are suffering in it, to go back to having to pretend like it's great. That's the great again that they want to get back to, is everybody who's hurting to just shut up and
They
let
want
them
Leave
do
It
as
to
they please.
They want Leave It to Beaver. That's
Oh,
Yeah,
exactly.
they want
Leave It to
Leave It.
Beaver.
They want
Why?
Leave It to Beaver the show, not the era the show came from.
Oh,
They-
I wouldn't
They
be
want
so
us to pretend like that's
surprised.
happening.
I think it's an imagined time. I think it's nostalgia. Like it's the
Exactly.
same way that nostalgia sells so well. Whenever people are like, remember this thing from your childhood when things are simple, and people they want that, and it's not a real time. There's no like actual date that they can point to and say
True.
this is when America was great.
American
It's like
graffiti.
It's like a feeling. It's like a feeling of, like when men could be, the head of their households, and they, women couldn't work, and they could, they were more in charge of stuff they aren't. I mean, they still are, but like there's a feeling that kind of, like the power of white men or whatever is being eroded away, in their minds, and they want to go back to the time when white had like middle class men felt like they were in charge, or felt like they had something that they don't have now.
Case in point, though. Let me just float this your way, because first of all, I think to go in with that era never existed. The whole thing about that, you see the evidence of that when you ask them what specifically from whatever era they named did they want, and they can't come up with something specific. They'll never say the tax rates, and they'll always avoid saying the race stuff. But it's the idea of an era. And when you say white men are less empowered than they ever were, or when you say like they want to go back to when white men had the most power, compare a white man now to a white man then, regardless of who we have power more than. And it's like comparing the average person. It's like comparing a poor person now to a French king from the 1600s. Like the average white person now can get on a phone call with somebody on the other side of the world, and it costs them nothing. They can live longer. There is technological advancements to enjoy. The point is, as society as a whole gets better, everybody's lives in it get better. And the only thing that they want, these people who keep saying "Make America Great Again," is for them to be given all the backpats, and for the people saying, "Oh, by the way, the cops are killing us," to just shut up and get killed.
Words, they want all the traditional values. They want all of the Christian morals, like supposedly, but they want to have plastic surgeons to be able to get nose jobs, boob jobs, and all the other horse shit for the women, so they can all look like they're at Mar-a-Lago.
To be clear, just to make my point crystal clear, they don't actually want any values, any morals, anything like that. They want people to act as though that's what we have.
Or
they don't even read the Bible enough to understand if you actually put the 10 Commandments up. You could put a different page of the Bible up, and they would never call you on it, because they don't actually read it. They just want us to pretend.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Caste system. Yes.
Yeah.
Or
I mean,
like
I also
fundamental
think
extremism.
We're in the age of like neoliberalization and like globalization, and things are worse because of economic choices that the elite in power have made over the last few decades. But those are like those are grievances that go deeper than what anybody who's in political power is willing to tackle. So like, these little like aesthetic choices, or these little rules about, like social issues that that really play on like the insecurities and the grievances that, this like white male population and white woman population too. I mean, there's a lot of them that vote for Trump. Like, they're all playing on kind of aesthetic and cultural choices that a lot of times have nothing to do with our politics, because our politics are kind of fixed. And like a lot of the things, like it's crazy that Project 2025 has getting rid of no fault divorce in like the in one of the sections of it. It's like even the people that wrote that don't want that. You know what I mean? Like you guys get fucking divorced more than anybody. Like Trump is on his fucking third wife. Like, but these cultural choices are way easier to play on people's feelings that things are getting worse, because things are getting worse, but nobody is really trying to tackle the underlying issues and the underlying
like the climate crisis and the fact that we're going to collapse anyway in the big picture. That's
also just the fact that our state has been just hollowed out. Like all the benefits that people get, there's no real benefits to the state anymore. I mean, like you can get if you're really, really poor, but like like the things that you would want to play politics off of and say, hey, life is going to get better for you. Nobody can really promise that life is going to get better for you, because life is not going to get better for you. Life is going to get worse.
Promise it's going to get worse.
That's what politicians' job is, to promise you that everything will get better, and it's always a lie.
But they can't even do it on like a fundamental economic or real political level. So they're left kind of playing to like social issues and grievances that people have. That's like hey, your black neighbor is doing better than you. They have a nice car now. Why don't you have that car? Why don't you have a nice car? Why don't you have a nice house? It's because, our time is, or like, your neighbor over there is like a woman who has like a good job, a job that's probably better than your job. They're like, why aren't you like that? And, these like cultural and like aesthetic and non-political, in a sense, grievances that people have easily played upon and turned into a political movement, like outward.
Let me throw something at
racism. Well, let me just say.
Well, actually, this. Sure, go ahead. Yeah.
Racism. It's a big part of it too. Racism, and I read that there's some states that are considering outlawing interracial marriage. They want to go back like that. Okay, Jake. I had to get it out.
This ties into that, and I want to know what you guys think, because I think I fell for something on my last stream that is a tactic of the right wing, and I want to know if you think this is accurate or not. I think that the pundit class and the people who do the cheerleading for the right rely on normalizing horrible behavior and horrible, like the sort of like "Make America Great Again," that sort of saying, which clearly harkens back to a time that was hurtful for most people. I think they rely on that to separate their followers, who are the sort of people who don't necessarily believe that stuff, but are comfortable enough to listen to that stuff and keep listening. I think they rely on that to separate them from us. I think it's an intentional tactic to keep us divided, because you have somebody walking around with the equivalent of that Die Hard 3 sign. Of course we're going to yell at him. Of course we're going to hate him and let him know we hate him. And I was saying on my stream, that's a good thing. We should do that. But as I was saying that, I was realizing, yeah, okay, maybe in the street where, your mixed race nephew might come across him, it's fine. But here I am on my stream, a hootin' and a hollerin'. And what happens if somebody whose mind could have been changed wanders through? Whenever will they get the opportunity to have their mind changed? If we all behave that way. What do you guys think? Do you think that's an actual tactic they're using, intentionally giving offensive opinions so that we don't end up talking with them?
Well, I would say it's a classic cult technique, is you indoctrinate your followers into believing shit that's totally bunko and crazy, so that normal people just laugh at them, and it further others them, which then, causes them to get back into the group. They log into Facebook and said, oh, my fucking tranny nephew just called me a bigot, blah, blah, blah. And then everyone's like, oh, yes, they're so shameful. And it's all, you're great, Betty, or whatever. And then they become part of the group. And over 5 or 6 or 10 or how many years this fucking shit's been going on, they just keep getting further and further in.
Well, it also just doesn't like when you distract people by, like sloganeering and kind of what they used to call like demagoguing, pretty much like these kinds of the us versus them, like division tactics. They don't turn against their bosses, or they don't turn against like the wealthy elite in this country. They don't turn against, like, everybody just kind of turns against each other, and you turn against like your neighbor next door that's a fucking Trump guy. You turn against your like neighbor next door that disagrees with you about something else. You don't look up
at my neighbors.
Yeah, or like you don't
that neighbor, like, man.
The bosses at your fucking job are fleecing all of you guys and cutting your benefits and everything because you're too mad at the person that you're arguing with on the fucking shop floor, or you don't realize that like the politicians, none of them fucking have your back, because of course they don't. And everything keeps getting worse because of economic conditions, material conditions, and like you don't look at that kind of stuff. You just kind of get mad at cultural signifiers.
Class war, TR says. Class war, not race war. Class war.
I want.
Yeah, that's. Can I real quick just add on to that class war thing?
No, you may not.
Okay,
sorry.
No, please go. Please go.
No, that's it exactly. The point is that I think you just hit the nail on the head. It is a class war, and they're trying to get us to make it a race war. And generally speaking,
and we don't nobody does.
If I've fallen for something, that's a good way to know it's a trap for dummies. And I fell for it last stream, and I'm just now realizing, like, oh, this is so that I don't tell their people that, by the way, the guy you're voting for is a diddler. by the way, you know this guy took away your rights and you're showing your cheeks for him. Yeah, that's a. I'm going to think about that more. Thank you, Sandy.
Well, it's like some of the stuff
Thank you,
that's on
TR. It was his comment.
Some of the stuff that's on like Project 2025 is like getting rid of OSHA to fucking roll back health regulations, getting rid of overtime pay for certain classes of workers that have to have like, you know, that on the fucking books, you know, gutting unions. Like all of these things are very clearly targeted by the same right-wing people that are very willing to do the demagoguery where it's, you know, pitting us against them constantly. And the thing is, it's because they're trying to roll back literally all economic protections for workers. They're trying to roll back all unions. They don't believe in unions at all. Like all of the things that like the few protections that workers have. You can see it with the fucking Supreme Court. The Supreme Court just keeps rolling back workers' rights over and over and over again. And it's not even just the conservative majority. Like sometimes the liberal fucking majority minority jumps in too. Like it really is like the us versus them thing. Like it should be fucking the rich in this country should be what we're what we're fighting against.
So
you're right.
Go ahead,
here's
Matt.
a strategy that I think, and this goes back to should Biden stay in the race or not. I was on Jake's show recently, and we were talking. We were like, "Hey, have there ever been like why hasn't there ever been like 16 years of Democratic presidents in this country, right? Like, how can we get anything done if we keep going back to the other side, now this side, now that side, now, and it's just it's maddening to think of the possibilities. But there's like a strategy in here.
16 years of Democratic presidents,
like a consistent 16 years.
FDR won 4 terms, and then Truman won a term.
Yeah, and so like, you know, in the modern, I guess that is the modern day. It's not the right terminology, but you know what I mean. Like since then, right? And so what I was thinking was, how come nobody's employed the strategy? And maybe it's ego, or I don't know, but how come there isn't like a president for one term and he goes, you know what, I'm stepping aside. And then they bring somebody else in and he gets 2 terms, right? That would at least give you like 12.
Yeah. Wasn't that supposed to be Joe Biden? Didn't he say he was going to be a one-term?
He kind of did, and that's what made me think of it. And like, why wouldn't they at least? Because then he could save face. You know, I mean, it's a little too late now, but couldn't he have just said, you know what, this is our way of getting another guy in here who can serve 2 terms, and that's 3 in a row.
That really would have been
like FDR to Truman, right?
That's because
like,
Democrats don't give a fuck about anything whatsoever. All they want to do is, Project 2025.
So
like, vote for us, and we're going to do nothing about it, and then it's going to be Project 2029.
So they have thought of that, though, right? They have thought of that, and they're like, let's not do that.
Which is ridiculous.
FDR won 4 terms, and his brain exploded and leaked out of his fucking ears.
They wouldn't. The guy who took over for Biden wouldn't be able to go 2 terms, Jake? Is that what you're saying?
He might not be able to get 1 term. The incumbent advantage is so huge.
But
when you might not get it.
But when the opponent is Trump and he already lost, and we already saw what's in store, like I feel like this would be the moment to capitalize on such a strategy and be like, we got this.
I think it could work, and I think now is absolutely the time to try it.
You don't think it's too late?
No. I think the day before the election is not too late. I can't stress enough. I've been just watching the reactions of people on just online and in person, and it's all about hating Trump. I've not heard anybody been like, we need to get rid of Biden because we have such an opportunity with Gavin Newsom.
Oh God.
No one's been like that. I've heard people say we should have Newsom, or we should have Whitmer, or we should have this, that, or the other person. But none of them are saying it. None of them are saying it because they like that person. It's all because they think it's a better opportunity to beat Trump. That is so inspiring to me. And I don't care which one of these neoliberal ghouls it is. They're neoliberal ghouls. We all know what they're about. Fine. But as long as the momentum there is to not let Trump in, I think we're good. Yeah. But yes, I think to your original point,
because I can't control it. But I can,
to Matt's original point, though, real quick. I think now, if we're splitting hairs, now would be the ideal time to try that strategy, and it would be fascinating. So I kind of only for that reason, I kind of hope it happens.
And they tell voters
12 years. Just kind of sucks that like it doesn't feel like politics works in the way that somebody grooms somebody else, and I know that's a weird term now, but somebody grooms somebody else to be their next person, and really like puts time and energy into cultivating that, and then lets them run. It's like everybody's kind of just trying to cut each other down within the political system because they're like, well, I don't want this next person to overshine my legacy. Like Obama had that problem in fucking like in a crazy way. Like constantly, every time I tried to build on the his legacy or build on the Democratic legacy, you'd get a clip of Obama being like, well, I don't think we could go further than this. And it's like everybody sees it as a zero-sum game, it seems like. So it doesn't seem like we get people on the national stage that are like, all right, this is my hand-picked successor. Like, we don't have that in America. I mean, not for the Republicans either, because who's Trump gonna? Trump would never have a hand-picked successor.
Who do you think he's gonna pick for the vice president? JD Vance? Barron.
Apparently, the donors don't like JD Vance.
Ivanka, because she's back in the picture.
Scott,
with her new nose.
Scott, the South Carolina guy.
Tim Scott.
Yeah.
God.
He dropped his name during the debate in a way that I was like, oh, that's it. He's
Look,
that was weird.
I kind of hope he's the guy, because at least he gets to trot out his fake girlfriend again. And
that is so funny, dude.
Trot out his fake girlfriend, and then he dropped out a week later, and he was like, "Oh, I guess I'm dropping out." But like, where's this fake girlfriend?
What's with the South Carolinian senators in being gay? Both of them are gay, right?
Oh,
not openly.
I think you're right.
No.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that weird? Like, what's going on in South Carolina?
I think
not that there's anything wrong with it, of course.
I think what's weird is that
the gays, but
they will tell you
weird.
They're not, and it's unacceptable. So it's like more like what's with the closeted gays, not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
South Carolina, they can stay in the closet if they want. That makes it more funny for me.
South Carolina does feel like a closeted, queer coded state more than the other southern states. Because it's like you go to Virginia,
there's something going on.
The stereotype about like Virginia or whatever, I feel like it's just like regal and like kind of like gentlemanly or whatever. It's not as queer coded. But you get down to South Carolina and it's like, well, I never. My stars, like, and even the dudes are like that. Like,
declare.
This is the first. Now that I'm in South Carolina, this is the first town I've ever lived in. It's not a good or bad thing. I don't think it makes any difference. But it's the first town I ever lived in that doesn't have like an adult bookstore, right? And like
first
that one store
you lived in that doesn't have an adult bookstore.
Yeah. So
like
you're
walking around, you're like, well, what am I going to read today then?
No, well, yeah, exactly.
It's like my erotica shipped on Amazon.
It's like, so nobody sells DVDs anymore. Great.
And then
no, but like, there's always
find a glory hole.
There's always that one store when you drive down the street and you're like, there's that one weird store, right? Or whatever. But it's always got like 2 cars out front though. But there's not one here. And I was asking,
and 10 out back.
I was asking a bartender about it, and I said, you know what I noticed? You don't have anything like that here. Because he's from out of state too. And I was like, there's nothing like that here. And I wonder if that pushes everything behind closed doors in like a really weird, twisted way. Like when you press it, it gets bizarre. And he was like, I don't know, but it's illegal all over this area. So there's a certain like area called upstate where it's just completely illegal. You're not allowed to have them. And what's funny is
have them like in your house?
No, like those establishments. And as soon as you leave the area, boom, it's like right there. So it's right on the edge of the perimeter.
Like
it's right on the
marijuana dispensaries in all the states that like border the other states.
I don't care for that at
I want to find out if there was like a campaign like where somebody's like all the wives were getting too into like those little like erotica romance novels. Husband's like, my heavens, what has gotten into you girls? I do declare my stars.
Yeah, what was
I'm such a busy. Me and my friend Jeffrey Thibodeau.
Who is that?
I'm sorry, I gotta go.
Hanna-Barbera?
I gotta lean into the earlier thing. I can't believe you women. Me and my friend Jeffrey Thibodeau are just gonna have to spend a whole weekend blowing off steam
Up at the cabin.
in
Me
the
and
Adirondacks.
Jeffrey Thibodeau have to go. We have to go up to the cabin and plot out our revenge or our
Yeah. Our sweaty revenge.
like you girls are more worked up than a house cat in heat.
I like, God, Kowalski's gonna come out and be so pissed. Pink's gonna come out and be so pissed. Our impression of Southerners in general, and specifically people from the area of the country Matt's in, is like a cartoon of a cartoon.
I do declare.
Yeah, here I got it right here. Check this out.
Am I allowed to say that people from South Carolina are dumb?
Oh yeah,
Oh my God. this
everybody.
cat.
Even if you
Yeah.
damn it, I should have talked over it. I'm sorry.
It's all your fault. Jim.
I
I'll
look.
put my Snagglepuss back on.
Look, it's just real quick about being in the South and South Carolina. I'm not from here. I haven't lived here very long, but I'm here. From the outside, it's a very scary place. Once you get here, and I always use this analogy, I probably have with you all before. It was like landing on an alien world, and I took my helmet off to see if I could breathe, and I was like, yeah, okay, I can breathe. I can live here. The people are great. Like anywhere, when they're not, there are some who aren't great. And where I am, if they're not great, you can kind of tell a little bit quicker.
Right.
That's how I put it. But
Fair.
for the most part, I mean, just look how they vote. But for the most part, I am overwhelmed by the kindness to strangers and the amount
Right.
of dialogue I've heard. People openly do not want to talk about politics. They go, I don't talk about politics. But they do talk about looking out for each other. And it's
each
not
other.
one
Kindness
another.
to which strangers is always what I wonder. Like kindness to
The
No,
letter
but
hacks
like-
of the world.
Hey.
No, but like we should all be looking out for each other more.
true.
They're
I think-
basically
yeah.
describing socialism to me, but since they don't want to talk
Yes.
politics, I don't go, that's socialism. I just stay away from it. But you're driving down this road for like 20 miles, there's nothing. You come by one house, there's a guy mowing his lawn, he waves to every single person.
Oh, people are
And-
friendly
and-
here
but-
too.
In Colorado, where I live for 23, bunch of assholes by comparison. No one
Wow.
holds the
looking out
door.
for each other
They're
takes
elitist.
a dark turn at some point when you're like, all right, like,
Elitist.
I
you guys
mean-
might be looking a little too sideways at certain types of people. But every time I've gone to
yeah.
the South, I've enjoyed myself and been around like nice people. But I'm also a white man.
Every time I've been
So
to the
it feels
South, it's been pain and fucking torture. It's been the worst.
Yeah.
And I'm the most guilty of all of us of dipping into broad generalizations and then forgetting that I'm talking about literally millions and millions of people.
Jake
Like,
loves
there-
the generalized broads. He just can't stop.
Yeah, I do. I generalize broads all the time. But no,
It's generalizing broads. Yeah.
you bring up a good point, even if it's a frustrating point. And I'll recap at least what I heard. Hopefully it was accurate, which is we don't have the luxury of being able to dip into the same ignorance that our political opponents do. We can't be like people from the South. Boo! Like that's such a childish, silly way to. I'm just going against.
Are you
what
from
I
the
said
South?
earlier.
Well, fuck
No.
you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm as north. I'm as Yankee as you can get, and there's plenty of sweet people in the South. There's plenty of people who have
Of
all that
course.
good. Yeah, all that.
I
good
used to go down
Southern
to the South for bike
culture.
things and people were nice. It was before Trump. It was a lot different. Now, things are just different. I sent
I
you
think-
pictures, Matt, to look at. That happens where
I-
I lived on a 4th
I
of
think
July float.
The thing that frustrates me so much about that is that like 60% of folks that are out there look like more like
Right,
80% of the folks that are out there who look and sound like me vote for Trump, and I get oversensitive about it. And like I get desperate to let anybody around me know, hey, that ain't me. So I apologize if you are from the South. I don't really mean it. I do think you are lovely people. I do love what Matt has pointed out, which is that in the state he's in, there's a beautiful tradition of being polite and friendly and welcoming to strangers. And I will assume that that applies to all strangers.
People do try to say, yeah, but they don't mean it. And I'm like, okay, that's a stereotype. Like, are we really doing that? I'm here and I'm not just sticking to my, I mean, there was a period where I wasn't going out a lot, you know, I mean, there's nothing to do. Okay.
Right.
But there was that,
you know, I've sought employment, right? I have a job now. So, and it's intentionally something that puts me in the heart of my town, the community, and it's real engagement and hands-on stuff. And so I think that it's super easy to go, look how they fucking vote. And then I also like really want to start looking into, well, how many of them are voting? Because at least where I am, I'm guessing a lot of these folks are like, no, I don't vote. Why? Nothing's going to change for me.
I mean, it's also
no one's going to change here.
It's the us
going
versus
to
them.
this time.
It's the us versus them like division thing that we were talking about earlier. Technically,
exactly.
Like,
I fell for it again in the same stream.
It's sectional division in that case.
Yeah. In honor of that good spot, I'm putting Conan back on my jacket.
But it's still a beautiful place.
He's got a green screen jacket.
Hey, I want to shout out someone in my chat, Latino Mufuni, who's been going through it with the hurricanes and losing power. The hurricane barrel and losing power in
I'm getting some
Texas.
of those vans. That shit's
we did too.
They're back up and running. The power's on. Good to have you back. We missed you while you were gone.
I'm glad you're safe.
The power goes out and you don't get Letterhack. So move out of Texas. Go to where the power go.
Or get yourself a backup battery so you can keep your internet running. Like I have
one.
I got it. I got a Delta EcoFlow Delta. I got UPSs on my computer. Now I learned because of the power going off. You know,
love that.
But yeah, I got it all going. The only problem is I can't keep my fridge. I cannot get my fridge to plug in to the unit because I can't get my fridge out. I've got to get some kind of thing to shove under the fridge to pull it out so I can. That's what I don't want my food to go bad. Power goes out.
Yeah. So, okay, look, we talked about the politics. Hopefully that satisfies some of the people in the chat. I want to go back.
I'm not satisfied. I want to keep talking about how much Southerners fucking suck, how much I love Hillary Clinton and
we can do a couple things here. I have sort of a weird little game we can play.
Yeah.
I don't know if people are going to want to do it.
On little. It's a very
or we could talk about more pop culture, more. KT Baldessaro, another co-host of Movie Night Extravaganza, is coming on my show Monday. We're going to talk a lot about movies and TV, so we can save it for then.
He's been in a crazy amount of movies.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really looking forward to it.
One of the Purge movies. She was like an extra and went on set for one of those.
There's so many of her IMDb listings that are uncredited. And I'm like, how many of those do you have before they credit you? Like, come on. Right?
Yeah. Well, it's a small enough role, I think. But like, I don't know, you get to go on set for a day or two or something, and you get to like, meet the people on there and make connections.
Yeah, I want to ask all about that.
Yeah.
I just saw Caliphate. Have you seen that series? Anyone?
Caliphate?
Is that what it is?
Caliphate. Nope.
It wouldn't be the first time I mispronounced something on the show.
I mispronounce everything.
No, Caliphate makes sense too. But no, I haven't seen it. Is it good?
Yeah. Oh, it's good.
Watching a lot of ISIS TV, huh?
A lot of what?
I said ISIS TV.
Yeah, well, because Netflix is like, oh, you like that, huh? Here's some more, and they keep doing it.
ISIS? Well, check this out.
Yeah, they keep doing it, and I told my wife any day now they're gonna put up like a literal beheading on Netflix to be like,
now
oh,
I'm-
you
now
like
I'm
that?
imagining,
Like
like-
this?
I'm imagining like an ISIS version of Jackass. They're like, watch this one. And it's
Did I? You know what? All right, I got
They kind
a
of have that.
anecdote from my pre-newsman days. Once upon a time, when I was a salesman at AT&T, they rolled out a new kind of insurance plan that we had to sell on family accounts, and it was called, I shit you not, ISIS. And we had to put like posters up all over the store saying like, let us sign you up for ISIS.
That is awesome.
And a month later, we had people coming in
That's
after
funny.
their normal shifts. People are getting paid overtime to reset up the store. And a month later, the terrorist organization ISIS started turning up, and we
Oh
had a
my
good
God.
solid. It wasn't an immediate change where they're like, take it down, take it down.
Oh,
We had
shit.
several months where I had to be like, and it was mandatory. I had to be like, okay, and now that we've sold this family plan, you guys all have phones. I want to ask you if you'd like to sign up for ISIS. Now, here you go.
Wow. It reminds me of this time I was at a
Oh,
sales
shit.
meeting when I was in the outdoor industry for apparel, and we weren't selling enough ski pants in the men's category. And the head of sales got up and said, this year we are going to actively penetrate men's bottoms. And we were like, what, dude? What did you just fucking? He's like, we've already conquered men's tops, and now we're moving toward men's bottoms. And we were like, you gotta.
That's
Did you not
funny
run this
shit.
speech by anybody?
We're
He's talking
moving
to like
toward
300 guys
men's
rapping
back
away.
into it.
Funny.
that's the life cycle, right? You
That's
run out of
funny.
tops, and then you got to start penetrating bottoms. It's like,
Oh my God.
I'm just saying we need a great big push here.
It was it's kind of shocking, but there's Matt in the crowd dying. I was dying. I was like, I don't care what happens at this point. That is
Oh,
funny shit.
It's so good that you remember that one. That's
I'll never
great.
forget it.
That's great.
Okay, this is potentially silly, and
We are
and-
always silly.
and it's kind of
sillier
long.
than is it sillier than signing up for ISIS? The ISIS.
It's like a game I have, and we don't have to do this, but like, you know how I like to toss
want
out
to
like
already.
insane hypotheticals just because I think it's therapeutic. I think it gets people to practice like the worst case scenario, gives us a chance to have some perspective and purge. You know, look, when you are so tuned into the news and politics as we are, and as the chat is, you start, and the environment even, but you start to like have that anxiety builds up like this weird inner monologue that's like all hyperbole, vitriol, and when you say it out loud, it just doesn't make sense. So like, it's good to like get that out. So I thought instead of a question, I could pose like a scenario with check-ins.
Okay.
And we could call this game, tell me what you're thinking right now. Right. And so that'll be like the check-in. Are you ready? Do you want to try it? It's like a 3-part story I want to tell. Okay. Here's part 1 of 3. What if 4 days go by and no one has heard from Joe Biden? He's canceling meetings, trips, campaign stops. No one's seen or heard from Jill Biden. The press secretary's like, we can talk about Israel, Palestine, but I don't know how to answer your questions about the president right now. People have just kind of thrown their hands up, right? No one knows what to say. Think about that, right? Like, everyone would be speculating wildly.
You just fucking cracked me up. Now I'm thinking of like one of those like national security advisor guys at a press conference being like, "Look, I don't know what the president is." Like, he's like, "So the Middle East, that's crazy, right?" Like, that's still going
Zach,
on.
you guys see what's going on in Rafa right now?
Yeah, yeah, right? Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
How about that hurricane? Or, you know, so then, without warning, there's the announcement of a press conference from the Oval Office.
Oh.
This is like on day 5. It's slated for 5 minutes from the announcement.
Ooh.
Everyone fucking drops everything. Think about all the monitors, all the screens, the cable networks, the channels, the indie news channels, all of them are just a one shot of the presidential seal, and it says stand by. And for 5 minutes, Vegas starts taking bets, right? Like Trump stops playing golf. Everything freezes. You can imagine life on another planet being like,
this kind of happened. This kind of happened like a couple months ago.
It did,
but yeah.
But not under the current circumstances. Under these current circumstances.
It was under Biden being president. People were saying he was too old to be president. He's fucked up. He disappeared for like a couple days.
If this happened right now,
and then they were like surprise announcement, and then Biden ended up saying that Al-Sisi was the president of Mexico or something, and everyone was like, "This got weird."
Okay, yeah, but I think if it happened today, much different. All right,
let's erase that it happened the first time, right? Like,
okay, and so
get us to the question here.
So the camera switches on. It's the Oval Office where Biden is sitting in front of the desk, not behind it, and next to him.
I'm proud of him for making it in front of the desk.
Next to him is sat Hillary Clinton.
You just go.
Biden begins talking, and he's going on doing that like muttering old man routine for like 10 minutes, right?
Well, yeah, he's used up his energy getting in front of the desk.
He's talking about accomplishments, kind of doing shout outs, maybe donors, his staff, his family, whatever it is.
Shout out to my boys. Shout out to Wilmington, where I come from.
He's like, I'm the guy that did that. He's just doing, it's just like a one-sided interview, and everyone is just kind of like watching, right? So, in that 10 minutes, here's the first check-in. What is going on in your mind?
Okay, I got it.
Okay,
I got it. Go ahead. The Supreme Court made their decision that the president can have immunity for doing something that is not correct or right. Hillary Clinton sitting next to him, he cancels the election and he anoints her and says, I am dropping out and she is taking my place, and because I have immunity, I'm going to do this executive order.
Okay. All right, in that scenario,
my brain went somewhere dark with you saying that. And I thought you were going to say that he just popped Hillary Clinton in the back of the head and was like, I have immunity.
Oh, yeah, you went dark. Yeah, but it wouldn't be her.
In Sandy's scenario, I'm imagining the exact thing Matt described, except he's got one of those pink hats on the ears.
The pink pussycat hats that the women wear when they went to DC.
Wait, what if Biden was so far gone that he just disappeared? Went hat shopping. No one knows where he is. He's hat shopping. He gets one of those hats, and then his press conference is, "Look at the new hat that I'm wearing. What do you guys think of my hat?"
Okay, I just want to point out these are all potential options, right? Like any of this could happen, right? Any of the things you just brought up could totally happen.
Sure. If Biden sees
I mean,
the right
you
hat,
said what's going through your head. The second that camera turns on and I see Hillary Clinton there, this is what's going through my head.
Yeah. Thumbs forward. Andrea, do you have an answer?
What I think is happening, Joe Biden is going to pass out. He's going to die on camera. He's not going to make it.
Oh, God.
Foaming at the mouth.
Hillary Clinton.
Maybe something falls on him and like a pen falls off, rolls off the desk.
Right.
Impales him in the trachea. He's done for. He's a live television. He's gone.
You're like with a blow dart, and he's like,
"Yep, it's done. It's over." So then Hillary walks back into the frame, looks at the camera, says, "You happy now?" And then it flashes Hillary 2024.
Or Hillary could say, "We came, we saw, he died," and then it says Hillary 2024.
There you go.
Okay, part 2.
You all saw it. Can't be blamed on me.
My really boring answer is I would assume that Kamala has been pushed out to the side, shanked, and they're just putting Hillary in there as vice president. That would be my boring answer to what I'm assuming.
Oh, God.
Okay, and just before we do part 2 or 3, this is a therapeutic exercise in purging all this crazy shit that we have in our heads, right? So it's working. No matter if you like this story or not, it's working.
It's generating more crazy shit. I'm going insane right now.
You got to get it out.
Just thinking about it.
All right, hit us with part 2.
Okay, part 2. Okay, then Biden, after 10 minutes, which feels like a lifetime.
Okay.
10 minutes for that guy would be a long time. He turns it over to Hillary, and she begins talking about her legacy, everything she's done in politics. Oh, Bill and I were in this very office so many times.
That one
and blah, blah.
time she got a post office opened up. The one thing she did.
She's, she's just talking about her husband, her lovely daughter, how she's all grown up now. I don't know if you guys have seen, she's going on and on about this, and how Biden has been the best president in her lifetime, and now she's going on for like 15 minutes, right?
That's really
Like,
shitting on her
that-
husband, by the
this
way.
is like, well, and Bill agrees or whatever, right?
No.
But like now
It's like a
going
Family
on
Guy
and on.
cutaway to Bill, like
Best
going like,
president of my lifetime.
I agree.
He's
So
absolutely done the things.
she's talking about all the work she's done in her political career
AI
since
bot.
and what she's done since leaving office, peaceful hikes through the woods, and her ongoing newfound appreciation for hot sauce and all this stuff.
I'm dressing like
I
Sarah
love
Connor
hot
in
sauce.
T2. Sure.
She starts talking about how she called it when she broke that glass ceiling, and how no one was as accurate as her, except
Did she
for
think it, though?
in
Or
terms
smash
of
into it.
no, this is her dialogue.
Talking.
This
Right.
doesn't
Okay,
have to
okay.
be real.
All right,
And-
yeah,
and
fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
wouldn't
just
put
what
it
she's
past her.
saying. Got it.
Right. And she was the only one who was right about Trump and the deplorables, and we were all wrong, and we should have elected her because. And anyway, she's like, but I digress. It's been going on for like 30 minutes at this point.
Finally.
Now what's
you're
going
fucking
on in your
digressing.
mind? Yeah. Now what's going on in your mind?
Fine, this bitch is digressing.
Oh, I'm dressing like Sarah Connor in T2. I'm driving to the desert to get ready for the apocalypse. I'm thinking they're going to announce that Hillary's the candidate, and that's the game, folks. That's the whole game. Only person proven to be able to lose to Trump. Yeah, I would just be furious, livid,
Anybody
and I'd
else
vote
wanna-
for her.
Okay. Nah, that's the
is
worst
this
part
when
of this.
Hillary turns into fucking Sadako from The Ring and just like crawls out of the television screen? Is that
Oh
what's
my
about to happen?
God.
Frolic in the brine, goblins be thine. Okay, so part 3. All
Shit,
right.
it's
Now
part
the
3?
camera begins to zoom. Part 3 of 3. The
Oh.
camera
Oh, I
begins
had-
zooming in on Hillary very slowly. Biden,
Over her shoulder to the window.
May-
Kamala's there.
Biden may have even got up to leave. We don't know. He's not in this shot anymore. It's just
All
Hillary.
right.
Oh, by the way, she's wearing all white. Okay. Or as she calls it, platinum.
Platinum.
She reaches into her coat pocket, pulls out
She's getting a gun. Get
a pair of Ray-Bans, and she puts them on. She puts on the
thank God.
Ray-Bans, right? She is still talking about politics and how we need to reach across the
We gotta
aisle
put our
more,
glasses
and
on.
how without Donald Trump, the Republicans would actually be pretty sensible and good
Okay.
people to
Oh,
work
God.
with. And she starts talking about entitlements and how we all need to learn to do
Ugh.
what's right for the country as a whole. She's just dragging on until suddenly she pauses,
And
adjusts. Go ahead. And no, adjusts the Ray-Bans, gets them just right,
Mm-hmm.
and says the Democratic Party is essentially on a gravy train with biscuit wheels. And that's why, with the will of God at my back, then the camera shuts off suddenly.
Oh,
Right.
I
Everyone
have-
gasps. Everyone
Oh.
freaks out. Right. We're all just sitting there bracing for impact. But wait, it comes
and
right
that's
back
why
on.
I'm running on the libertarian platform.
It comes right back on and picks up where she left off. And there she is with that smug grin, wearing those Ray-Bans in her platinum suit.
oh.
And
I got to
she
pause you
says-
for 1 second
Okay.
before you give us the drop the hammer here. I was furious with this scenario, even picturing the scenario, until you had hypothetical Hillary Clinton say, "We've been on a gravy train with biscuit wheels." In which case, I'm like, all right, let's see what you got, bitch. Let's go.
But-
Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But just
Like,
touting
alright.
shit that
I
didn't
had a
It's on a
whole
gravy
different
train
thing.
with biscuit wheels. and this train is about to fall apart.
Yeah, right.
Little bump of
I had a
coke, she's
whole
shadow
different-
boxing. I'm like, okay, yeah, all right.
She says, that's why, with the will of God at my back, I, Hillary Rodham Clinton, am
Getting
launching
biblical.
new exclusive brand of America's favorite salad dressing called Hillary Valley Ranch dressing.
Yes.
Now, what is going through your mind?
See, this is not where what
I'd
you
try
should have
it.
taken
I wasn't going there either. I was.
I'll
should've
go to the
taken it with-
Hillary
Okay.
Valley.
Hillary
I
Clinton
told you it might be
announces
long
her
and
own-
pointless.
Hillary Clinton announces her own crypto coin.
Okay.
I thought she was going to bring she was going to say blah, blah, blah after everything she did,
Oh.
and then bring Michelle Obama in.
Okay.
and say
Bonus.
Michelle's running
Bonus.
for
Bonus
president.
scene. Bonus end.
Before the
or-
bonus, I got to react to this real quick before the bonus. If that happens, I would immediately think, oh, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay.
It's not so bad.
As a species.
gonna
Yeah.
be
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Hillary
is
Valley
okay.
Ranch dressing. So
Yep, Valley Ranch dressing.
the camera begins to pan out again. Now, George Clooney's sitting next to her, totally naked. He goes, you got to ask yourself, folks, am I wearing any clothes, or are you going to keep pretending that I'm wearing clothes? Right?
No, that's not
He's
what
trying to
you gotta put-
make an
you gotta
analogy.
put the ranch-
Hillary
new
dumps the
Hillary
ranch
Valley
dressing on him.
Well, you got to put the Hillary Valley Ranch dressing bottle over his dick. So he's
No,
like,
well, it doesn't zoom out that far.
Hillary Valley
Yeah.
Ranch dressing.
She starts dumping the dressing all over him. Then
shit.
Satan comes out and he's holding a barbecued RFK Jr. Or is it?
God.
Oh,
This is
that-
getting
that's
too
like, oh,
far
there's a
off.
gas leak. There's
This
a
is
gas
Matt.
getting way
leak.
too far off the rails.
Matt, the writer.
I'm
Matt.
just saying,
Let's bring it
convince
back
me
to
that
the
shit's not going to
dressing.
happen.
Dude,
bring it
it
back
I
to
want
honestly-
me to convince you that
Is it
whole
just George
series of
Clooney?
events
Is he
is
the only-
not going to happen.
Forrest, what now with the George Clooney?
just don't think it's.
I'm
gonna
just
happen.
saying, like, is it just George? Is George Clooney the only one that she can only have one celebrity to help her sell this dressing? And does she start licking the dressing off George Clooney? Because that's where this shit
No,
would
that's
go.
content. That's pretty good.
She starts licking the dressing off George Clooney.
See, I think it's funnier if she's.
Obama
if she's
comes out shirtless. Obama comes out shirtless, and he's licking the dressing off George Clooney too. They're both just going to him, and then their tongues touch, and just all of a sudden implosion because their tongues touched, right? And then the entire White House is going up in flames. Everything crazy is like because they promise each other as long as their tongues don't touch, they could be political allies, and it all just
Did they
sucked
promise
back into
that?
his act.
Like, was that like Chekhov's tongue touching? They promised that,
Well,
like
that's
in the
like
first.
they signed a deal so that Hillary could be Secretary of State. Implosion, right? The White House is gone. No more White House. But in its place is an exact replica of the White House, but 10 times as big, and it's the entire thing is made out of chrome. It's like bright, shiny chrome. And they're like, you've unlocked the secret level. This is the secret level right now. And
Okay.
so then the flag goes up like, doo-doo-doo-doo, and then all of a sudden, fucking, Mario comes out of there and he's like, congratulations.
Mario is
Toad-
real?
It's Toad from Mario, and he comes out.
Hey, it's a Biden.
Congratulations, you found the Hillary Hidden Valley Ranch dressing, and because of that, you have been awarded. You are president now. You, Matt Strackbein, are president now. It's you.
It's me,
it's always been you.
Scaramucci.
I would
And
do
then
it.
all of a sudden, confetti comes up, confetti everywhere, and everyone's celebrating. All the townspeople come out. They're all screaming. They're all like, yeah, 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 and it's all because of Hillary. And then there's like just the logo, and it says Hillary Valley Ranch.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay.
Oof.
So first of
I
all, the
just
name,
watched
the
that
brand
movie.
is definitely Hillary Valley Ranch. That's settled.
I got to give my
Second
wife
of all,
credit
Meat
for that.
Canyon, where are
I
you?
thought it was Hillary Valley Ranch.
There you go.
Depends
Third
on
of all,
how they're using it.
I'm for this concept up until the point of the announcement of Hillary Valley Ranch. I think the idea, I want to keep the I'm with her hat in there, the whatever that pink
I'm
hat
with
was.
her.
I love the idea of like news reports being like, nobody's heard from Biden in a week. Then cut to that announcement. Then
Or
cut to
Trump.
the announcement, and he's got the hat on, and Hillary's standing there, and he's saying those things. Then Hillary takes over, and the camera goes on, and it's all to announce Hillary Valley Ranch.
Yes.
Yes.
Dude, brand announcements are everything now. Brand
Yes,
announcements are
yes,
key.
It is.
All right,
That would make
everybody
me
has a
love
brand.
Joe Biden
all the goddamn YouTube
for loaning them the
channels.
White House to do that.
And like, why did
I-
they decide to zoom in on her? Whose
I
decision?
Because
I'd
she was
love-
making the announcement.
Who's the one
I'd love to
zooming?
see something like this, like the same announcement, right? But instead of Hillary Valley Ranch, it's Hillcoin, and it's a new cryptocurrency that Hillary's announcing for America.
That's pretty good.
And she's like, it's launching on one of those like the scam sites they have now, where a guy will scam celebrities into like putting their name on a coin, and then he pumps up the coin and then takes the money out. It's like some like influencer online that like Caitlyn Jenner fell for, and a bunch of people. So it's that, but so that it gets pumped, and then he pulls the money out, and everyone realizes that Hillary got scammed. They don't care because Hillcoin is a hit. Everyone's buying Hillcoin, and it becomes the next currency.
I like venture
Oof.
capitalist Hillary Clinton. I think that's what we should start doing. Every time she makes an unwelcome piece of commentary on politics, we do our version of it where it's just her announcing a new ridiculous product. I love it.
It's my new startup. And everyone's like, all right, well,
Yes. Hillcoin.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was writing that out
Briarcliff.
thinking
Does she still live in Briarcliff Manor?
probably.
Forrest?
But I mean,
Doxed.
Oh,
I was
for
writing
fuck's
that
sake.
out.
That's why
Valley
she
Ranch so
became senator because she moved to Briarcliff Manor.
I kept
Hey.
thinking to myself, like, this it sounds far fetched, but then I'd read back and go, it's kind of not far fetched enough.
That's true. I think you could add a couple more layers there.
How
Think
far
of the shit we go
get
through in our
tonight?
lives here, right?
Yeah.
Like I was
mean,
saying,
yeah.
I was saying the other day, I'm old enough to remember when people were like, "Oh, come on, fascism, don't be extreme.
Yeah.
Stop
exactly.
calling everybody racist.
old
Stop
enough to
calling
remember
everyone
when-
Nazis."
when men were men. Men
And
aren't men
girls
anymore.
were girls.
And Ranch was, I don't know.
I
want
that
that so bad.
I remember back when Ranch was Ranch, and I'll tell you what, nobody would have dared put nothing in it. No spicy ranch, none of that Thousand Island dressing. No one would have messed with Ranch. I remember when Ranch was Ranch, not like this sissy shit we got today.
Well, I
Letterhack,
do.
If
Go
you
ahead.
make stickers, like if you sell on Redbubble stickers that are Hillary Valley Ranch, you will have at least one customer because I will put it on every bottle of ranch or anything, frankly. Any sauce that I'm using is going to be Hillary Valley Ranch.
We can
From
have
now
Hillary
on.
Oh my
Clinton
God,
pointing.
please.
I did that, and we can put that on the ranch aisle.
Oh,
You
wait a
have got
minute.
to eventually
This just went
expand
gorilla.
her- you have to eventually expand her brand and have Bill Clinton's Bubble Barbecue. And it's like a barbecue
right.
company.
Yeah, dude.
Bubba barbecue. That's funny.
It's,
Yes.
it's the kind of barbecue
Oh,
that will
shit.
it'll make you ready to start your day.
Yeah.
And you know,
And
like,
and
then-
he's driving the gravy train with the biscuit wheel, which is
Oh,
that's
yes.
that's a line that Bill Murray
that's
ad libbed
phase.
on Kingpin. By the way, I did not make that up. He ad libbed that. But
Oh, but it coming out of Hillary Clinton's mouth with like a deadpan seriousness too.
what makes it's
like,
canon
or-
that
or
that's her
coming out
favorite
of,
movie.
or Bill Clinton's mouth where he's like, I'm the conductor of the gravy train. Get
The
all in.
biscuit
Choo,
wheels."
choo.
Choo.
What I like
Like the
about Hillary
unenthused.
is that she has no discernible sense of humor. So, like, the idea of her deadpanning this stuff to the point where you're never quite sure if she actually is trying to roll out a product or if she's just secretly been a comedic genius this whole time.
Oh my
God, I wish Michael Brooks was still around. I would give him this with a bow on it. Oh,
Look, if that
I
doesn't
love-
hey, I've
I
been
love-
lost
define
for about 5 years.
In,
our mission,
in like 2016, I loved when they would have the articles where people would be like, Miss Clinton is she's very funny. She loves jokes, and they'd be like, no, she doesn't. Stop lying.
She's
to
a
us."
huge
That
fan
was
of
the-
jokes.
That was like the Biden's fine, like Biden's brain is fine of 2016. They're like,
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton loves jokes. She's very funny. People don't give her
Yeah.
enough credit
No
for how
shit.
funny she is.
Oh, for
Donald
God's
Trump's
sake.
in perfect health. He's the most healthy president of all time.
Why
but
is
I
every
You know,
president the most healthy president
know.
of all time? That
Why-
that alone should raise red flags every time somebody does that shit.
let
Every
All
them
right,
be
who's
unhealthy.
the healthiest president? Go.
Yeah.
Who's the healthiest?
Unhealthiest Trump.
Jimmy Carter.
Oh,
Obama.
Obama. Yeah. But Jimmy, actually, maybe Jimmy Carter. Honestly,
Yeah.
I was gonna say Obama too.
Have
but
you ever
that
seen
dude-
Reagan horseback? That's not easy.
Okay,
Well, yeah,
during
no.
their
Reagan was
presidency.
melting.
Let's put it this way: during the presidency.
Obama?
Oh,
Then.
Yeah, probably Obama.
Smoke cigarettes.
He did, but he's still. I mean, that's why I was going to give it to Carter.
say
But if we're
Carter.
saying during the presidency, Obama was the only one playing a real sport during the presidency. He
All
played
right.
basketball. You actually have to move. That.
Like
Okay.
daily.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Joe Biden. Controversial. I know. I might get some flack for this, but I think he's the healthiest president.
Oh, he's the healthiest president.
Like
Who
when
do
you
you
really
think-
think about the pain, the suffering, the torment of being the most powerful man in the free world, you know, like all the stress and the anxiety, you know, like I wouldn't be able to handle it. And
Come
when you
on,
think
man.
about him doing it
think-
at that
you
age,
You think I'm not healthy?
Okay.
I'm the healthiest guy that ever, with the that's my time anyway.
Yeah.
I just found out. I Googled who was the
You know the
healthiest
thing.
president. Guess what? It was Rutherford B. Hayes, the
Nah,
19th
bullshit.
president who held office from 1877 to 1881.
That's good.
bullshit.
No, I'll go with
Guy
that.
was eating fucking.
Rutherford.
I don't know what he was
Also,
eating.
coolest first name. So.
Musket shot
It is.
deer.
I would
Rutherford.
say,
Hayes.
all right, everybody, give me your top 3 healthiest presidents. I say Obama, Roosevelt, Carter.
Which Roosevelt?
You'd say
Teddy.
Roosevelt.
Teddy.
Yeah, probably. Although
I'd say
by the end of
Eat a
it,
bear.
he was
Oh,
healthy till he
yeah.
got the shrapnel in him. Then
Good.
he
Rutherford.
declined really fast.
Obama, John Adams.
Fair.
I'm gonna go with Woodrow Wilson,
I'm looking at 10
Dwight
healthiest
Eisenhower, and Coolidge.
Military
Calvin
man.
Coolidge.
All right.
Those are my
Okay.
choices.
President Fight Club this is turning into. Sandy, who are your 3?
I don't know. I was just reading about John Quincy Adams swam naked in the Potomac River every day and lived
That's
to be
pretty
80
healthy.
in an era when average life expectancy was under 50. Teddy
That's pretty
Roosevelt
healthy.
was an active outdoorsman and a literal cowboy. Gerald Ford was perhaps
shit.
the most athletic president in the 20th century. He was known for working at
He
a
was a football
fevered
player, too.
place in the White House. So I guess, yeah. And then George
Jerry
and
Ford.
Bush and Barack were avid exercisers and cheap, but I cheated and went to Google.
That was available to all of us. You were just intelligent enough to
You're
acknowledge
the
that.
only
and
one who
use
did it.
Yeah.
Because I don't
I want to
know
see
enough.
W fight. According to Hank Hill, he's got a weak handshake. I don't think he's got much.
Yeah,
chance.
he wouldn't last a minute.
Time magazine. Why so many presidents are so healthy? I don't know. Maybe because the doctors just lie and say whoever the president is the healthiest one ever.
Well, they do get the really best everything. They really
Was it
do.
on this
'Cause
show
they're
where-
already kings.
Was it on this show where we were asking whose bag of Coke they found in the White House? And I said it's probably most of theirs. It's like
Yeah,
could have been
everyone's on.
any one of
Anybody's.
89% of the people in the White House. I
I
hope
thought
it was Biden's. I don't
Don
know.
Jr.'s leftovers.
I
Just
mean,
Hunter was visiting his
yeah.
dad. Well, that's the
He's-
easiest
Hunter
joke to
or
make.
Don Jr.?
Hunter was sitting in on Oval Office meetings last week.
Yeah, no shit.
Well,
He's
Hunter was
the-
at Camp David. He was the one convincing Biden to
Yeah.
stay in the rain.
prodigal
Yeah.
son. Yeah, because he wants immunity, or he
But
wants.
he couldn't
what?
help his fucking dad out the night before, 2 days before, when he needed a little pick me up on stage with Trump. He needed a little pick me up. Where was fucking Hunter Biden?
Well, Hunter
You know what I
Biden
mean?
was on
Like,
heroin at that time. That wouldn't have really helped out.
The Secret
2
Service
days
was just
before?
holding him back. He was right off stage going, "Let me help."
Oh my
Hunter
god.
Biden's like the top crackhead son we've ever had, and he didn't help his dad out when his dad needed a little.
It is
He's
Sad,
trying.
though.
He's trying to throw his
Addiction.
fake fingernail out.
Addiction
there.
sucks.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought that Hillary analogy was pretty good, just in terms of being
Yeah.
like, let's get the crazy out, right?
Yeah,
Like,
we
and
got it out.
For
Forrest,
when
you're
when
funny.
BCAT K was like, I've been lost for 45 minutes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
We've all been lost for
Purge that stuff.
I'm not.
All
I'm
right,
not
I got a
lost. I know
setup
all
for you.
about Hillary Valley
Oh.
ranch dressing. Wait, I'm gonna
Yeah,
hop
that's-
off for a second, but
Okay.
I'll be back in a second.
What do you got,
Give it-
Andrea?
All right.
Give
so
us your setup.
Joe Biden starts
Word.
a podcast.
Okay.
It's called Vibin' with Biden. Every day,
About
7:45
selling marital
a.m.
aids.
to 8:15 a.m.
Oh,
Okay.
Jesus.
30
Yep,
minutes.
that's right. So episode 17 of this podcast is coming out. The election is in 4.5 weeks.
He's had a pretty good schedule then.
Pretty good schedule. Pretty good. He comes on, let's imagine there's like a 1-minute intro, like his aide, is like setting up, they make it look like it's live on the scene. So like the aide is setting up the chair.
Yeah.
They're getting the camera, they're zooming it in and focusing. Oh, there's Biden walking in, right? He walks in. He sits down. He stares blankly at the screen. Now, this is a live podcast. He just stares.
Yeah.
He falls over.
Ooh. Well,
then
it's over.
The camera zooms in at his head. He's unconscious. On the back of his head, you see a zipper. Like a little,
oh no,
like a little, sticking out of his head, a little zipper.
Oh.
Okay.
He has a
and then it cuts out. That's the end of the podcast.
He's been taxidermied.
Then everyone, we all decide to jump on a show. You're on the show right now. What do you say? This just happened 12 minutes ago.
Reminds me of the Eric Andre bit where he goes to DNC and he fucking starts making out with a woman dressed as Hillary Clinton, and they're rolling around on the ground, and then he pulls off the mask and it's like Hillary Clinton has been Donald Trump this whole time.
Wait, what episode of the podcast was it?
17.
Subliminal. Okay.
I believe in a constitutional amendment to not have anyone that's been president start a podcast.
There's a good idea. Yep.
I do. I kind of like that. Just not because I don't think they should have a podcast. I don't follow that yet. I haven't had that point made yet. Maybe you'll make one. I just generally believe on making their lives harder.
This is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Jake, I think you should have a show once a week called Hillary Ranch Dressing.
I mean, it's not gonna end with this conversation. I'll tell you that much. I'm gonna try desperately as a lazy gentleman to get other people to do an animation or something of it.
Oh my
but
God.
that concept was so weirdly funny and just my exact brand of humor that I need to see it. I need to be able to watch it. It's like Fight Night, the wrestling debate cartoon. It's a very specific kind of weird that I love. Hillary Ranch Dressing will return.
The guy who thought of it draws. He should have to draw a brand for Hillary Ranch Dressing.
Ranch Dressing for
I just feel like
next
he already
week.
did the heavy lifting. He came up with it. Now I feel like we got to stone soup this thing.
I was spitballing with my wife, and she said it should be ranch dressing. I was like, "Ooh, Hillary Valley Ranch Dressing." And she goes, "Oh my God."
Now imagine like the Don Draper pitch for Hillary Valley Ranch Dressing.
I was just watching Mad Men scene.
He's like,
all right. So Andrea,
when we think of Hillary Clinton, what do we think of? Competence, sturdiness, leadership,
contempt for
balloons.
Salad.
You're like
salad.
We're like our Hillary Valley Ranch Dressing. Competent leadership for the new century or something like.
Start passing out NDAs.
Yeah, I just love the idea of a bunch of like presidential candidates standing around, be like, well, if we can't say that my party is the most fit for ranch dressing, no one can. And Draper's just like, so we can say anything about the ranch. I don't have that part of the joke quite worked out yet, but I like where you're going with.
Oh,
Draper.
Christy, that's great. She wants to see Hillary chug a bottle.
Yeah.
Hillary
it ends with her
dressing.
she does not blink. She stares right at the camera, chugs a whole bottle of
and
it.
her chaser's hot sauce.
You know what? I would be fine with presidential election if we're gonna do what we've been doing, right? Like if everything's as stupid as it's been, which is like if we're at this level of stupidity in general, I would be fine with deciding our presidential elections. We fuck voting, fuck voters, right? It's who can finish a bottle of ranch dressing the fastest.
Yes.
So
yes.
whoever the two candidates,
we already got a sponsor.
Hillary ranch dressing.
The two candidates have to chug a bottle of ranch dressing, and whoever finishes
family
it the
size.
fastest, and whoever finishes it the fastest,
it's a family
right?
size.
They're president now.
You're getting
And
a
it's like-
Costco family-size bottle of ranch. It's not
But
the stuff
somebody-
that's sitting on the restaurant table.
If the winner throws up, constitutional crisis.
So
Yes.
what about like the little bits of ranch that stick to the side? Like, do we have to like pour water in
Oh.
there, shake
You
it,
gotta-
and then drink the
Oh.
solution?
No,
start to
but
get
I don't think
yellow.
we need real people to we need real good measurement people to measure how much of the bottle is gone and how much is left over. And if there's a lot left over, right, for both candidates, we have to boo that. We have to be like, yo, these are the most
Gotta do a
unpopular candidates
recount.
of all time.
I think
Or
it has
sometimes
to
we-
pass. I think it's got to pass the
Okay.
the 3-second drip test. So when you polish it off and you tongue around the inside to
That
give yourself a
sounds
little
gross.
advantage, you have to hold it down upside down empty, and you're not done until
like Hillary
3
did
seconds
George
pass
Clooney.
without a drip coming.
That sounds pretty dirty. The 3-second
Like-
drip.
like-
test.
Like Hillary did with George Clooney in that story. We heard.
Politics is dirty.
Oh, I have the giggles tonight.
I think it's insane that one of the requirements to be president of the United States is you have to just deep throat a fucking like a bunch of pork parts at in Iowa.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
and the fact
What?
that even Bernie Sanders, you can see him just with the fucking with
No,
their,
I
That
can't.
would be
Nope, I can't.
now
this is
convince
insane.
me that's not going to happen in the near future. Any of this
It
is
will.
plausible to me.
He's talking about actual things that happen. You gotta go to
Talking about actual things that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Everybody
shit,
wants to
that
be-
happened.
Everybody wants to be president has to go to the Iowa State Fair and they take the giant fucking corn dog shit that they have in there, and they just
Wait.
stick it down. You can see any fucking presidential candidate doing that.
It's true. I've seen the pictures.
Yeah. Or they have
What
to
is
eat
wrong
those-
with this
those-
country? It's worse than I thought.
Yeah.
What is the Iowa State Fair?
I
Yeah,
think so.
Any state fair.
Bernie was kind of good about it though. He just had a little corn dog. Some of them go ham though.
You know, they say
Okay.
eating one hot dog takes 33 minutes off your life.
I mean,
Yeah.
the Google
Does it really?
search. I just
I mean,
put in
don't
does
eat
it?
'em.
How many
So
minutes does it
disturbing.
take to eat the hot dog? You might have a net gain here.
I don't know.
I mean, unless it takes negative 34 minutes to eat the hot dog, I don't know.
Otto DeChat says we are witnessing the
says-
downfall of the U. I just snapped into like it was my show. Downfall of the USA, which began with Reagan. I just want to
He's
say,
right.
yeah,
Dashat.
Yep.
He's right. Of course he's right.
I'm
Started with
trying to-
Nixon.
Trying to find a video of
Ew,
this.
wait.
'cause
Okay.
Wait.
And I had a thought also about when we
Okay.
go way back to the early.
Look at this picture of
Oh.
fucking Bernie doing it. I shared a screen.
Okay. Do you remember All in the Family, everybody? That show? Oh,
Yeah.
look at
Yeah.
that. There he is. Well, the opening
and
song.
he's you can see Bernie having an existential crisis there too. Like, is this what we
You
are?
see that heart-
Really?
Oh my God. Ugh.
You can see that heart attack
I want-
starting. Like you
I want to
yeah.
be president. Oh, he's thinking, I want to be
Funny.
president of these idiots. What were you?
All right,
Yes, I
all right,
saw All in the Family.
Boy, ate the corn dog. What else do I need to do?
Okay, now can we
Cotton
talk
candy.
about politics? No, I need to get another one of these down my craw. Okay, fine.
Cotton candy.
I hate you all. Well, I did see All in the Family. Yes, Sandy. What were your
Okay,
thoughts on it?
so the song, the opening song, would be really what they want to take us back to. Those were the days. Boy,
Yeah.
the way Glenn Miller played songs that made the hit parade. Times like that we had it made. Those were the days. Oh,
Yeah,
the way
fiction,
Glenn
right?
Miller. Yes, but that could
Absolutely.
be the theme song for the joke of going back.
Holy
At
shit!
least-
Look at this.
At least for the old people.
Mm. Well, you're not wrong.
Oh, look at that. Look at this. Oh,
Put some
my
ranch
God.
on there. If she pulls
Mm.
out a
Oh,
bottle of
God.
ranch, you're gonna be
I'm
like,
gonna
"Matt,
go-
you've seen this."
Wow.
But we've already determined that I don't know about this hot dog eating thing.
No.
That's
Which is shocking. I thought you would know about that.
so
didn't.
okay. So that really is like if he's going to be president, he's got to enjoy a corn dog in public, right? Like, is that what they're trying to say? Like, if you were like, no corn dog for me, they'd be like, what? How dare
Yeah,
you?
Do you
dude?
not
I
wanna
want
be president?
But I also think it's a humiliation ritual that we put our candidates through. And I don't think
All right,
anyone.
I
you're
thought that
winning
was
me over.
being president.
They just want to show that they're American, you know.
But I think that at this point, because everybody takes pictures of it and puts the pictures online, and everyone makes I think it's a humiliation ritual at this point.
Okay.
I kind of like it now. I wasn't on board before. Now I'm kind of getting back there. I like the idea. I hope the hot dogs aren't even good. I hope they're not eating the best hot dogs in the state. I hope they go around the state and find the least liked corn dogs everywhere. Be like, this is the absolute worst we got. Go on, eat it. You want to be president?
I
Eat
dare
that
you.
disgusting thing. I like that. Go on, piggy.
Lobster.
Just harassing presidential. I'm generally for knocking these motherfuckers off their pedestal.
You gotta go.
Yeah, do it.
Does Donald Trump eat corn dogs?
Yeah.
I
You
bet
gotta throw ketchup packets
I
at them
bet.
so that they can grab them
there's a
and
picture
put
of
them
him
on
Yogurt at him.
There's a picture of him literally deep throating a corn dog.
Whoa.
I wouldn't doubt that Donald Trump sends his staff members out to dollar stores to buy corn dogs in the freezer section.
Dollar stores.
I don't know. Look. This is look. This is him deep throating a corn dog.
Oh, you got it.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, it's
Jeez.
awesome,
Guys,
Oh,
I
guys.
hate to tell you, I'm now putting myself in the category of full
Oof.
straight. After that, I can no longer.
Oof.
When Diversity Squad rolls around again, I'm full straight because that's
Full straight. Oh,
It's not good for
Lord.
anybody.
I might just be ace now.
Pretty gross.
I don't think. That was.
No labels.
Ow.
That's a party. No labels.
Hey, there you go.
There's one of fucking McCain about to. This I think this is the early days of like the humiliation ritual online. There's a picture of McCain about to fucking dig into a turkey leg, and he's like no pictures. He literally has his hand out like that.
It's like
Trying to
fucking
get
our
the camera.
Bud Dwyer at the moment of reckoning.
Yeah,
Find Sarah Palin. Find a picture. Did she do that?
he's
Oh my
probably good
God.
at eating a fucking corn dog. Come on,
Sarah
like,
Palin.
Yeah, and
What?
Alaska's kind of rural. Like I feel like she could do it with some dignity and understand where all the bad
She's
angles are
eating
going to be.
A moose
that's
dog.
the one time she has any dignity.
Yeah. At the hot doggery.
Yeah.
Like I know how to eat a corn dog. I'll tell you what.
Can you imagine that this Sarah Palin has multiplied in our political system now exponentially
God.
with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren
When we were
Boebert and
sweet
all these-
summer children and we thought Sarah Palin was as bad as it would get.
Yeah. And now it's like multiple Sarah Palins all
Unreal.
over. Who's the one? What's her name?
She'd
The-
be a
the one
moderate now.
that-
Well,
the-
some of
she'd be
these-
a
some of these
reasonable
fucking
candidate.
Presidential candidates. Some of them are like touching their fucking esophagus with the. That's how they eat the fucking corn
Oh,
dog.
you're having a lot of fun with this one, Forrest.
I've seen a member of Congress give a hand Joe to another member of Congress at a Beetlejuice play.
Yeah.
I don't think
wasn't
it
a-
was two members of Congress.
Yeah, it was only
No.
one.
Yeah, the
member
other
of
guy's a
Congress.
Democrat.
Wasn't
Or
he the
wait, he might be a
strip club
lobbyist.
owner or some shit?
He wasn't. No, the other guy like ran a gay bar or something. Like something that you would not expect for a
Thought it
fucking
was a
person that
strip
Lauren
club.
Boebert
Does
giving a
sound
hand
like
Yeah,
something a
he-
lobbyist would do, though.
He was related to the Democratic Party in some way. I don't remember what it was. I think like he was either a donor or whatever, but they met apparently through that. At least that's
Money.
the latest goss I heard.
Money,
in
money,
the
money,
scandal
money.
Where I can't stress enough, she gave a hand Joe to somebody in public.
And she won her primary.
I personally,
And
I
she
mean,
She
it's
changed.
the coolest thing
she
she's
changed
done by
districts.
far, by a huge margin. That is the best thing she's
The
done
only
as a
thing.
member of Congress. 100%.
The United
I'd vote for her.
States of debauchery.
Oh, I hate you so much, Andrea.
I'd vote for her twice.
Ah,
I'd get
damn
my
it.
dead mom to vote for her.
What is the matter with us
Ah.
as a species? As a
Oh, do you want
species.
me to go into
Where do
that
you start?
scientifically?
Yeah.
I mean, I've had every guest
Sure.
on my channel that I could answer that question. Well, anyway, what's wrong with us as a
The
species?
specific
We
thing
are-
that's the matter
we
with
are
us that
flawed.
makes us
We are
re-elect her.
flawed.
Yeah, we're flawed.
Our brains. Our
Hey,
brains.
True.
I have to just point out we've been on the air for 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Holy
It's
Well, you want to
11:09
go? You want to
PM.
leave? You want to turn
Well,
it off?
I
Are you
Just
done?
drink
in
coffee.
case anybody or our guest feels like they are had enough of this, you're welcome to leave at any time.
The goofy night.
You know what this feels like with you guys? This feels like when I was at a sleepover back in the day when I was just
Right?
like when I was young, like 28, and it'd be like
28.
it'd be
I'm
like
28 right now.
Yeah,
3
you
in the
are.
morning, and you just start getting the giggles out, and you just start saying the weirdest you can think of, and
Yeah.
it's just the right time for it. Yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
Me 24/7.
You're on the other side of a fucking you're on the other side of a sugar like hangover, whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you had too much sugar that night, and you're like, oh man, I'm just gonna start saying stuff until I pass out.
Like, man, what did your mom put in those cookies? I'm like losing.
Yeah, I'm the mom that put the shit in the cookies.
I think
Boy.
I think it's-
everyone's like,
shit.
you're rolling the sleepover, and Sandy's like, I'm the mom who shit in the
Yeah.
cookies.
Yeah, the kids
We
cannot
all
have
know what's in
alcohol,
your
but they
fridge,
can do whatever.
Sandy.
Yeah.
You got
People
plenty
in
of
the-
shit in there?
people in the chat really do think that I'm on something tonight, which I'm not.
No, we're just goofy and laughing.
I don't need to be.
You're
Let me
on
tell you.
a full
I'm
Meanwhile,
something.
I vocally support marijuana and am wearing a non-existent suit. They're like, that Matt guy, he seems a little off.
Whenever Jake comes back from the camera being off, there's like clouds of fucking vapor and smoke everywhere.
Oh, really?
Like,
Jake? Really?
goddamn
Let
cigar
me tell you
filled back
something.
room.
Really?
No wonder Jake knows so many
He takes
lobbyists.
No,
he takes
you
the
know
hit of
what
his
happened.
fucking, fake suit.
No, when
Yeah,
I got
there you
really
go.
stoned on the show, and then I blurted out something stupid that pissed Matt right off. I said, I'm never going to come to this show all stoned again because I'm
Here's
not going
my-
to blurt something stupid out.
Here's my thing. Let me just tell you this about sobriety. If you tried your darndest to get high every day from like the age of 12 and a half to 47 and were, largely very successful, and then suddenly we're stone cold sober, you realize there's no trippier mental state to be in than sobriety.
Yeah.
Your dreams are no longer suppressed and they come rushing back and they stay with you all day. You'll right in the middle of the day, you start looking at things thinking, man, I've been staring at this ladybug for like 10 minutes and I'm not high. And that will trip you out more than if you're high looking at a ladybug going, is this a cool ladybug? Like, that's just you being high.
Yeah.
Being not high and realizing that you're having that moment is like the trippiest thing that can happen to you. I'm taking pictures of cloud configurations with my phone and I'm like, am I really going to keep this on my phone? What am I doing?
Use it as a
Answer,
background.
of course.
Green screen.
It's funny. I am using it as a background. But anyway, I don't have to be high, man.
I'm not every day, and I'm walking outside talking to snakes
Bears.
and rabbits. Yeah, well, but the snake one today, he just came up on me. They're just garter snakes, but they're all over.
Snake,
Mhm.
rabbit, and mole. You got a lot of stuff.
I got them all.
You got a pretty rocking backyard.
I got them all. Well, that was just the beginning of it. He was going back on my trails. I don't want him jumping out when I'm all the way back there.
By the way, the guy that Lauren Boebert was like giving a hand job to
Yeah.
was a bar owner, and his bar has had drag.
Has
Is
had
what?
drag shows.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so
So he
they're
runs
hypocrites.
Does
a
it
cocktail
say
bar.
that he hosted Democrat conventions or anything like that? Because I need to correct myself.
He is. I think
He
is.
just
the
is a
Democrat,
Democratic voter.
Yeah.
That's not as interesting as I thought it was.
Yeah,
but it's
I
fascinating.
mean, it's pretty funny that the guy's bar hosts drag shows sometimes.
Yeah.
The
It's
only
like,
correction
really?
necessary is that we don't make corrections on this show, okay?
If I say something wrong, I might refer to it in the past tense 15 years from now. But aside from that, you're on your own.
Who cares? Yeah. I mean, you should know. We should actually probably put up a disclaimer. You know how people say opinions are our own? We should be like, do with this information
All of
what
these
you
opinions
will.
are representative of the Letterhack Industries.
Listen
With any
at your own
criticisms,
risk.
please go to the Letterhack. Thank you.
Yeah, I actually
Everything
do.
we
Email
say
me.
I
endorsed
don't have an
by
employer
me.
right now, but if I had an employer, it would my responses would not reflect my employer's beliefs. You know.
My responses
Whereas-
do affect and reflect my employer. Everything I say is on behalf of my employer, even in this. So
My
I
responses
also hate
don't
my
reflect
employer.
my employer, but they do reflect the opinions of Matt's employer. So
It all reflects
gmail.com.
the opinions of my employer, Donald J. Trump. I am, of course.
hey,
I am,
there
of
we
course.
We're all going to be employees of Donald J. Trump soon.
At
Jerry
the American Corporation.
I'm the one non-Hispanic cleaner of Mar-a-Lago.
there you go.
That is an American citizen. He said, Donald Trump said, look, we usually just hire immigrants to clean Mar-a-Lago, but for you, sure, we'll hire you.
And you get paid $5 an hour more
And
than
if you go on a
everybody else.
podcast, my opinions reflect you whatever you say. That's my opinion. So
I'll be right back.
That's a big responsibility, Don, as I call him.
Do you
know?
think if I put my phone number in the chat and popped it up on screen, like how many people do you think would call me right away?
I'd call you.
I would like literally two right off. Like we would both, and I would have my my phone here as I was dialing.
You should put Jake's phone number.
You rat.
If I had it, that would be funny.
And say this is my phone number. Call me. I'm
And I
lonely.
should do
I'm
it.
lonely at night. Call me
And
at
I
night,
should-
especially.
Yeah. Like, so I'm always up at like 3:30 a.m.
I hate everything.
And
wishing I had somebody to talk to.
We saw what Letterhack was doing
about
last
weird
week at
stuff.
night.
Oh,
I like dick pics. So if you want to send dick pics to this,
and I'll take Jake off screen so there's no way that he can protest. But so last week I got some very strange yet supportive DMs in the middle of the night, and I read them all the next day, like early the next day. I was like, this is awesome.
Are you going to share any?
Well, there was one that said, it's something like, I'm guessing you know this, but I just wanted to let you know, in case you don't, that you're still on air. And I was like, that's perfect. And there, I screenshot a bunch of chats and put them in the community tab.
Oh,
my
I saw
channel.
that.
So
That
those
was
are
so
good.
good. Can I also say, if you guys call me at a lot of folks in my audience do have my number, and we do chat sometimes. But if any of you guys call me at 3 a.m, I will have these eyes, these crazy eyes. I'll be furious, genuinely angry with myself and God as much as anyone.
That's funny.
call me at 3 a.m. and just tell me how your day went. I'm interested to hear from you.
That's funny.
Oh,
Yeah, apparently
Wow.
Bill Murray really did. Is that who that was? That was Bill
Yeah.
Murray, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Zizou.
The Life Aquatic. Yeah.
He wasn't originally going to be in Kingpin. Randy Quaid was in it, and he said, I think I can get Bill Murray. And he called him and said, yeah, he'll be here. And they're like, he will? And then they didn't hear shit for 6 weeks. On the day he was supposed to be there, he showed up. He looked at the script and he said, yeah, I'll figure this out. And he ad-libbed everything. And it was,
Apparently-
that's one of the funniest things he's done.
And I might be
you guys-
misremembering this as well, but I guess apparently he doesn't use an agent. Apparently he just like
He books his own
takes-
tickets and takes
Yeah.
a cab. And yeah, he doesn't
What a
show
mensch.
up with an entourage. It's just him.
he's like a human being still. That's lovely.
I'm old school.
who is that?
Bill Murray,
Oh, Bill Murray.
good man.
Yeah, Bill Murray was like he's a
thought he had some
comedian,
sex
actor.
scandal.
He was in
He didn't have some.
Ghostbusters.
Didn't he have some?
Oh, he
chauvinistic-
said some off-color
happened?
things off camera during the shooting of a movie.
Oh, so it was just bullshit.
I don't know, but they shut it
Oh.
down.
Oh,
So
okay.
you guys,
Sure.
you guys know about the time, and I guess it was in 2010 that Bill Murray walked into a bar with the RZA and the Jizza from fucking Wu-Tang.
Oh yeah.
And he started bartending. He just started bartending in the middle of this bar at South by Southwest when it was like the early days of it. And every time anyone ordered anything, he just give them tequila, like a shot of tequila.
Oh my God, Jake!
I love the fact.
How did you do that?
No matter what they. To be continued on that. But
Okay.
I love the idea. Just to restate what you said, that no matter what they ordered, he gave them tequila. That's such a Murray move. That's awesome.
I mean, whatever they're ordering, they don't know what they really want. What they really need and desire is tequila.
Yeah, you need a shot of tequila from a guy giving you this look.
I gotcha. Tequila.
They
Look, if
say he
you're
has crazy eyes.
if you're looking for love, tequila can help. If you're sad and your love is over and you're trying to get over it, tequila can help. If you're feeling like you're trying to have a fun night out, tequila can help. If you're mourning the loss of somebody, someone died, tequila can help. It's just
if you're sad because you're an alcoholic. Well,
Hey,
my
does
friend Sam drinks 3 a night.
everyone here like tequila? I can't stand.
It's all right.
I
I'm
don't
neutral.
drink it. I
Yeah.
don't drink it. I only
a-
will when my friend Sam makes me one because he drinks margaritas. And when he visits, there is literally tequila and limeade, whatever it is, here in this house for the once a year that he swings by.
That's awesome. I'll drink Jägermeister for breakfast. And
he got Bill Murray.
I was
A liqueur?
I'm a big Scotch guy,
Yeah.
but I love Jameson Irish whiskey. Like,
Yeah, a nice whiskey. It's hard to beat.
well, but like I used to drink a pint of Irish whiskey and ice, like a pint, and then the years went by. I finally came to my senses, and I was like, no more ice.
So you finally sobered up after all of these years.
I had enough of this ice bowl.
And I woke up and I was so fucking hungover.
And
I'll tell you
realized
guys.
the problem was all this fucking ice.
I enjoy
Ice.
no joke. I enjoy whiskey so much. Like actually,
So
the
much.
the idea of drinking it. I will buy non-alcoholic whiskey. I have before. It's
Is
not
there
as
such a
good, but it's
thing?
good. Yeah,
Is there a thing?
Oh, you're sober, Jake?
We just talking about flat
No.
Coca-Cola?
by no means.
What is?
but like I like when I drink stuff, like I really am like obsessive. So like I'll drink a 2-liter and it just sits by me till the 2 liters gone. I can't do that with whiskey, so I'll get non-alcoholic whiskey so I can just be sipping on. It's not. It really doesn't taste exactly the same, but it's an approximation, and
It
it's
is.
nice.
It is fun to do something like watch the debates or something and drink whiskey, and just get
Yeah, I like.
Well,
Yeah.
whiskey
I like-
was mine. I was a Jack and Water person. Just
Yeah.
Jack Daniels and
Jack and
water.
Water's
and,
lovely.
one of the first
lovely.
like Republican debates in 2016. I went to my friend's house and we had like a bottle of like, it wasn't great scotch. It was like mid-shelf scotch, but like we had a bottle of scotch. It was like Dwar's fucking that kind of scotch. So it's not like, it's not great quality, but it's like mid-shelf quality. But like we drank the whole bottle of scotch while watching, like sipped it while watching the fucking Republican debate. And I remember walking, I had to walk home and it was like 3 miles and I was just so fucking hammered by the end of it that I don't know how the fuck I got home. I don't remember getting it.
Get roller
That's
skate.
so
I love walking home when I'm drunk. I mean, it's a really
Especially
risky
with a
thing,
friend. Yeah.
but like it's just fun. Like, oh, that car almost killed me. Like, it's really great.
I haven't
That's
done
what
that
I'm
in
saying.
years. I'll get eaten by a bear.
That's what you would literally that bear that we saw. I like whiskey for the same reason I like coffee. Like it's a drink that its very nature forces you to sip on it a little bit. It's supposed to be bitter and burn a little bit. Coffee's supposed to be too hot to chug, generally speaking. I like that. I like a self-limiting drink. It makes
I
it more of an
agree.
experience.
Limiting.
I agree completely.
You ever been to the Jack Daniels distillery?
No, I have not.
Oh, it's nice
No.
in Lynchburg. It's a nice trip.
I've
in
been
the
to
South.
Celestial
in the
Seasoning.
South. Okay, well, Okay.
Hey, can I
Totally
can
different.
I derail us briefly and
Absolutely not.
justify?
I didn't know there was
You
a
have to
rail in
build the
first
rail
place.
We're
first.
currently derailed. What are you talking about?
All right, I'll
Derailed.
further derail.
9:05.
Everybody, somebody, Johnny
Did I
Too
take
Late
us off a cliff?
FTV. Just wait a minute. Let me throw
Where's
this out here.
Johnny?
Yeah, Johnny Too Late FTV just gave a great link. Support Annie Fitzgerald's
Yes.
campaign. Annie Fitzgerald is watching right now. She's running in Washington
Mhm.
for a state house seat, I believe, and she's a great human being. She's exactly the kind of people we need in power. If you're enjoying this nonsense that we're putting on, consider making beautiful, making it
Yeah.
a useful night. Donate to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, there you go.
Give her money.
Yes, and she's been here on this show, so if you wanna see her, you can look back and find the Letterhack interview
And
with
she'll
Annie Fitzgerald.
be back on the Letterhack Monday,
Mhm.
July 29th.
Yes.
Hey,
Disability
Wow, she's
advocate.
killing it, man.
She's pretty terrific.
The
All right.
the primary, I believe, is August 6th.
Oh
So-
boy, it's coming up.
Got Michigan primaries coming up
Gotta
too.
win.
Yeah, so the rare kind of good politics news. The other, I guess it was like 2 weeks ago or something. New York had their like assembly primaries, because now we have assembly primaries, then we have state primaries a different day, like for state senate or whatever, and that's in like August. But we had our first DSA backed assemblywoman face like a tough primary challenge of just like an extremely dishonest fucking primary challenge. Sarah Hanna is our assemblywoman, and she won by a landslide this primary. So for the first time, Mid Hudson DSA got somebody reelected.
Yay. Yay.
That's
Good.
good
That was-
news.
Heck yeah.
I went to the
Heck
middle
yeah.
school and voted. I felt like it was weird that they hadn't like let school out. Like, it's weird that that's where the voting happens. I feel like
Like
But
you
they
went
had
in
let
while
school out, so
school
you're
was
like,
still in
"Excuse me,
session.
Excuse me.
yeah, I think it was like one of the final days of the semester.
That's funny.
They like rope it off, and they're like, "All right, go in here and vote in the gymnasium."
All right. I put
Oh,
up the
God.
link for the Equal Rights Amendment, but I can't put it up in New York State. Because
I
the
didn't know that we
Constitution
didn't already.
does
I
not.
didn't know that we didn't already vote that in. That's crazy.
Nope, it says the New York State Constitution is wholly inadequate when it comes to ensuring equality. We need a constitution with broad protections for every New Yorker. The current New York State Constitution fails to prohibit discrimination against groups who have been historically targeted, including those with disabilities, LGBTQI individuals, immigrants, women, and pregnant people. So that's what I
I
am
remember
working on.
there was a big
in
push
New
to
York.
change. There was a big push for a constitutional convention when Cuomo was still governor, and he fucking squashed that shit.
Right.
Of
Well,
course.
this is why I am doing the volunteer work I am doing because of that.
The first
That's
time
awesome.
that
You're
like-
a good egg, Andy.
I feel like I like accidentally got into doing any kind of political stuff, but like it's like a multi-step process of it. Like I was trying to find an internship to do in college in like 2016. What a year for that, right? And the only place I could really like, I was trying to find something that was like not low effort, but like somewhere I could kind of just go and like for like during the summer, and they had like legislative gazette for all the SUNY schools, which is like you basically pay them to let you be a photojournalist. But
That's
kind
like
of, but it's
being
like one
signing
credit.
up for the army in year 1 of Vietnam.
Yeah. Well, so like I ended up going to the Capitol every like New York State Capitol every fucking every single like once a week for the entire summer.
Wow.
And that was it was kind of fun to do that, even though like I don't know, like there wasn't a lot of resources to figure stuff out. Like all the stories are like I was like you have to call like people and like talk to them on the phone about like who am I even like going to the store with, because it was like all of it was like, oh, this SUNY run, so it's like not partisan, so you can't make like you have to pretend you don't have any opinions on anything. It was like I can't, but I did pretty good with that. And then I was like, all right, well, I've like no interest really in the political side of things, and then ended up meeting Michael Brooks and being his editor for the next like 4 years.
That
so
was
like
great.
My God.
and then
A
and
crazy
then going,
story.
everything. So somehow I've like politics have been what I've like kind of just been pushed into for what like the the editing thing covers.
And
Forrest, I brought.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
sorry.
a
Go
cool
ahead.
story.
I was gonna say met Michael Brooks in line at a coffee shop or something, right?
Yeah.
I met him.
It's like
Yeah,
I met him at
remember
a
that.
food court
Amazing.
in Brooklyn, like one of those places. Like a food court in Brooklyn's a little bit different than a food court everywhere else. It's like
Yeah.
one of those places that has all the different people that can't really afford a
Yeah.
full storefront to like. So he was going there after being on Majority Report all day, and he went to go get lunch. It was like near the Majority Report building, which I didn't know at the time, but like ended up going to the Majority Report building and be like, oh, this is near where I was a couple weeks ago.
Have you've seen that building, right?
That.
It's a
What, the Majority Report where they stream out of?
yeah. Because
Yeah,
I had huh?
I've
You've
been there.
So is that building like a crazy,
so
like
jealous.
huge, cool
Envious.
designed building?
Probably not.
They're like in a place that
You can lie to us, by the way. We'll never know.
A brownstone?
No, like-
Is it a brownstone?
At least when I they were in a place that like rents out spaces, and they're just one of the spaces that got rented out.
But it's a massive building, right?
Yeah, I mean it's a big building, but it's like it's like a hotel
Like
or something. It's one of those places that like rents out apartments and
Yeah.
whatever,
Probably
spaces
kind
and
of
stuff. It's not like-
generic, Matt.
It's not like it's not like somewhere that you'd expect. I mean, it's not like it's the Majority Report building or something.
I
No.
Googled the address, which I wouldn't do live. I had the address. I'm not the only one, but I Googled it, and I was like, "Oh my god, is that really the building?" Like it was
This is the same guy sending
felt
you cease and
fake.
desist letters, sitting up there in the ivory tower on their 17 fucking story skyscraper.
They
I mean,
are
it's
out to
just-
get me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it was.
they're on the Gowanus Canal. I mean, they're not. They're in an industrial ish.
The industrially
Area of
ravaged
Brooklyn.
Guanaco.
That's
I
Yeah.
I know Brooklyn, so
It's
yeah.
when I went to their show at the Bell House, like when I was working with like to film it or whatever. Like I was born near, or like the first place I lived was near the fucking Gowanus Canal, and
Oh,
on the way there, like, because my dad was like, "Oh, I'll take you there." So he drove down to like Brooklyn and was like, "This is where you were born," and it was like a nondescript fucking brownstone. And I was like, or not born, but like this is where we lived or whatever. And it was
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I was like, so
No,
right near the
New
Gowanus
Yorkers-
Canal, the industrially ravaged.
New
it was.
Yorkers with humble beginnings, because I actually had one too. Humble beginning down in Yonkers and the Bronx.
Oh, Yonkers.
But it's like even when you go back to like I was reading like recently like a biography of George Washington, weirdly enough. But they were talking about how like during the Revolutionary War, even then the Gowanus Canal was so polluted that like they're like, yeah, you can't drink the water. Like it was already industrially
They're
like
already
ravaged
dumping
before
shit.
industrialization. Yeah, before industrialization was even a thing. Like
Yes, we were fouling our nest long before fossil
I
fuels
just-
were being burnt industrially.
Yeah, it was horse
Mhm.
manure before that. Funny how it's always
No,
transportation.
it's a lot of other things too.
A
but,
lot of other things,
know,
but
they
horse
were-
manure was a massive issue in cities. I do want to, speaking of, drop this off. I brought up Michael Brooks earlier, having totally forgotten that that's where you got your start.
Yeah.
What an impact that guy
Yeah.
had. I'm gonna quit this in the ghost of his after this, but I just
Michael.
I can't express how jealous I am of your career up into this point. You son of a you've had a cool couple of years, man, and it's still cool. Movie Night Extravaganza.
I had a
Extravaganza
cool
is
couple of
awesome.
years, and now don't know what the fuck to do with my career. But yeah,
what
I mean,
happens.
You're
he's
doing something fun now. It's an interesting
was-
show. It's a good concept.
it was crazy. Like, he died, and like the amount of outpourings of stuff that people had, right? Like that they were pouring in. It was like the impact of like what he was able to accomplish in like really a pretty short amount of time. Was insane.
young person. What a loss.
There's so many people that are like, oh, like he reached out to us when we were like, even like TrueAnon. It was like when we were like a tiny podcast, we didn't know what we were doing. Like, Mike would reach out to all these people and be like, hey, like I've seen you on like Twitter, like I've seen you, somewhere. Like I think you should have a podcast. He would like encourage people to like start even more left podcasts. Like, and he would like help
Hell
them,
yeah.
and he would like help them set that up. And it was like, that's crazy. Like the impact of it was huge. And he didn't take credit for it. Like he was never any of those situations. He was never like, oh, I helped these people. Like we would have never known if he didn't pass away.
Yeah.
Well, I
Wonderful.
think at that I'm going to make my Jakesit or Jakes-it first. I've had a
Okay.
pleasure. Good night. Everybody in my chat can stay.
Bye,
I
Sandy.
am saying goodbye.
It's a race.
See you,
Who's gonna do
Sandy.
it first?
Oh, it's
It's
gonna be
happening.
Sandy.
Oh,
I forgot I have this.
No.
By the way, someone said Michael Brooks was great, but Rushgate, he did not rush. Like, he was one of the people speaking
Yeah, I
out
was
about
ignoring
it.
that. I wanted to show this clip. Look, I've told
see it.
Andrea about this Nicolas Cage clip before. I'm not sure I ever linked you to it. Do you remember when he was coming on this British talk show and he had this terrific entrance? He ends up ripping his shirt off. That part's not in the clip I found, but have I ever shown it to you? Have you looked it up?
I've seen. I know what you're talking about.
We gotta watch this. Are you as big a fan of Nicolas Cage as Andrea and I? You guys?
I'm a huge
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage fan.
I like Nicolas Cage. His new movie looks terrifying though.
I mean, how do you say his new movie? The guy's got like
yeah, he's got like 15
so
movies a
many
month.
movies coming.
That movie Long Legs is coming out that he's a fucking serial
Yeah.
killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
good.
a movie that's getting huge reviews that he's like a serial killer, and everyone's like he's terrifying. It seems like he's a serial killer.
All right, check this out.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
oh god. He's
Barely lands
He's-
it. Oh yeah. You got a kick. Reach in there.
Is he just
Making
throwing
it
out
rain.
money?
Making it rain.
Yep. A kick again. There you go.
Oh
Yeah, and
God.
and then he sits down and he like rips his shirt off and puts his jacket back on and does the whole interview that way.
It's incredible.
The way I found out about it was through that book, Hollywood. It's the history of Hollywood through, or a history of Hollywood through Nicolas Cage's career. What was
Oh,
the
that's
name?
lovely.
Age
What
of
was the name?
Cage.
Age of Cage. That was it. And it's a
Yep.
great book. It's really, really good, but they reference that in there. And apparently it was just something he felt like doing.
It's crazy that his
Yeah.
real. It's crazy that
just
his real name is Nicholas Coppola.
And he was
He's
like, I
like-
can do it without the fame, without the credit that
Well, yeah, he was annoyed that people would lump him in with the Coppolas, and he was like, I just want to be my own person. I don't want expectations,
Yeah,
because you
he's-
hear that name and you think, oh wow, he wants to create his own
He's
legacy.
Definitely more of a hunter type, you know.
Watching like some of like the Sofia Coppola movies lately, I would not necessarily want to be lumped in with that either.
yeah.
Well,
I also just
Have-
want to point out any competition he's in is technically a cage match.
Yeah.
We should do more with that. If he's ever in the runnings for an Oscar, I don't know why he would be, but if he ever is, we got to call it the cage match.
One time I was in a
Thank you,
New
Snake.
movie. There's a
Anyone
new movie
seen
that's
this?
coming out in August called Long Legs, and it's being called like Silence of the Lambs, like this generation Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
See, this is
And-
the thing. The worst movies are the best if Nicolas Cage is in it. And every
Exactly.
now and then
This is not supposed to be a bad. This is supposed to be. Oh, it actually is coming out. It's coming out Friday.
This is
coming
what
out
I'm saying.
Friday.
Like every now and then he'll do something like Pig, and you're just like, come
Pig is
on.
very
Like
good, yeah.
most actors would only do the hits that he does every now and then, but like he's filling that in with like dozens of movies. I was in
Well,
a
I was
pet
I was
shop.
arguing about this on stream the other day after having a couple.
My
drinks, I
ties.
guess, but I was arguing with it on. I was arguing about when they try to do like the reconnaissance, they're like, "Oh, Matthew McConaughey's having the." I feel like I'm always worried that it's like the Nicolas Cage version of that, because the last few movies he's been in, everyone's like, they're so good. Like he's hitting over his head on these ones, and he just keeps on being in like, it's like gone from being like a story where he's like, oh, he's been good in a lot of mid movies to like his last few fucking things have all been hits, and it's like, I don't know. I hope he learns from the reconnaissance that there's a point where like sometimes you
Yeah.
bottom out, but I don't think he's going to.
Oh, he
he's
bottomed
supposed to-
out years ago. That's the
I
thing
know,
about
but
he's already bottomed out.
He bottomed
Nicolas
out, but then
Cage.
he's back. And like,
Yep.
there's always like a narrative that's like that. It's like he's back. Like his movies are great. Like there's always like that kind of narrative, and it's like I feel like that can burn out first. I don't think Nicolas Cage has been around enough that I don't think it's going to.
Yeah, no, he took from his family background the one thing you should take, which is an actual knowledge of the industry. He never had to worry about will I have money. He's related to Francis Ford. I have a Bentley Coppola. He was never going to have to worry about money. He has only ever
sold off all of his stuff recently.
He's only ever acted for love of the game, and he's in movies that he enjoys being in. He's very much like Bill Murray. I mean, he's in a ton of movies, but it's not because he needs the money. It's just because he's coked up. The thing I love so much about Nicolas Cage is his contagious love of whatever.
Coked up.
I would be genuinely stunned if he wasn't. It's not
Wait,
that.
Coked
Not
up?
that I think
Do you
it's
think coked up or coped up? Because I feel like
Coked
coped up would be like
as in cocaine.
Coped.
all right.
I mean, I
I
just
feel like
assume
you say because I really probably be like he's coped up. I'd be like he's
he
coped
grew up
up,
in
he's
the
out
80s.
there.
He's got a lot of money. I don't know why you wouldn't be.
He bought
Also,
an octopus at one point.
The way he bought an octopus, his general way he
ate
behaves.
a cockroach twice.
Yeah,
He also
more than
bought,
once.
like,
He went
T-Rex.
back for seconds.
Didn't he also buy T-Rex bones?
Yeah,
I would
these
buy
are all
that.
things that
How much can you buy a
cocaine addict
T-Rex bone for?
is gonna do.
I don't know. We should make our
What,
presidential
marry
candidates eat the gnaw the T-Rex bones.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say we have to make sure they can handle their cocaine and be like, all right, everybody, you two, you got to do just a little bump, and then we're gonna see how you
would
act.
make
in this
Biden
debate.
better.
I do. I actually think it would. It'd
Bump
make
back
him both
better.
better.
You know, that's just.
Hey, who here likes the movie Raging Bull?
I've
Yeah,
never
of
seen
course.
it.
Never seen
Hey,
it.
you said to
Oh.
Scorsese to stop making movies. I don't want to hear
Well.
your take on any Scorsese movie.
Apparently,
How
you can buy
about-
dinosaur teeth for like $300.
Huh,
Yo,
We
that's
should
not
all
bad.
save up. We should all save up and buy dinosaur
Yeah.
teeth and have them
Who
like
here
French-
likes the Flintstones?
Yeah.
I like the cartoon.
Have you
I
ever
like the cartoon,
seen
not the movie?
the
I kinda like the
Flintstones
movie.
dubbed with Raging Bull? There's
No,
like
please.
a lot of this.
Come on now.
You want to see some?
Yes, I want to see it. Put it
This
up
is
there.
the one where he
Matt, were you-
accuses. Huh?
Were you around on like in our chat or like something when we did somehow we got into like a really long bit where it was just Fred Flintstone, Bill Maher,
Ooh.
Oh
and he was like
no!
yabba dabba do. How about yabba dabba don't? and it
Oh
was
my
like the-
god!
It was like the new rules thing.
Oh my god! That's
Well,
perfect.
we started out with this bit where it was Fred Flintstone French Connection, where it was
Ooh.
the French Connection, but with Fred Flintstone as like
Oh, I love it.
as a Gene Hackman role,
Yes.
and like so we started with that, and somehow it turned into Fred Flintstone, Bill Maher, where Bill Maher is lecturing Fred Flintstone on yabba dabba, don't do that. Like
Okay, this is that clip where De Niro's character is accusing his brother of sleeping with his wife. Okay, by way of
yes.
the
Yes.
fucking Fred and Barney.
Raging Brontosaurus.
Oh, I can't hear it.
Hold on, you can't hear it. Let me see.
Mhm.
Oh,
You might have accidentally not put sound on that screen.
oh, here,
It's,
hold on.
it's
Sorry.
pretty great. We have a real producer here for the show to like just
Yeah.
to just
Yeah.
watch
Only-
in horror.
You gotta click audio.
It was
just audio
Safari.
at the bottom.
It was
Yeah.
Safari. It had to be in Chrome. My bad. Here we go. Hold on. Stand by, everyone. I appreciate your patience. We got this. Here we go.
You fuck my wife.
What? Where do you get your balls big enough to ask me that?
Met you again. Did you or did you not?
It's a sick question. You're a sick fuck. And I'm going to answer it. I'm going to leave. Understand, you fucking wacko? Fuck you! Fucking screwball, you. Fuck your mother!
There's one where he's like yelling at his wife for she's like burning the steak. She's overcooking it. He's
Yo,
like, "You're
that
fucking
scene,
burning
though,
it."
So they're like, fuck
I
your
gotta
mother.
watch
That means
this one.
fuck his mother too. Like, as his brother.
I just
Like,
love the
I-
way
Yeah.
he points at him. He's like, "You fuck my wife."
yeah.
You?
It's a great.
My
it's a
brother and
great,
I
like,
do that joke constantly, by the way. We'll constantly insult each other's mother, and we will wait for somebody in the crowd, whoever's watching, usually family, to be like, "You understand that's the same woman." I'll be like, "Hey, watch your mouth, first of all. My mother is a saint. My mother is the sweetest woman on planet Earth. Don't you say anything about my mother." Now, his mother's a filthy whore. That's a statement
You can
of
say
fact.
anything you want.
Yeah,
It's like charcoal. Bring it over here. That's the line.
I appreciate like Raging Bull of that scene is like the perfect like I don't know like CT'd out fucking alpha dude like just unraveling. You know what I mean? Like his brain is just unraveled throughout the course of the movie, and that scene kind of hits the peak of like, dude, you're not okay. You're never gonna seek therapy, but you need help. You need help, my brother.
Know what
Like,
else? You know what else I've been watching a lot? Like, because like TikTok is not my favorite, but you can like latch on, and I did this on Instagram where I was watching those architectural drawings with the Copic pens, the alcohol-based pens that.
Oh yeah,
remember I showed you those? They just draw like 10 different little bushes. I love that stuff. So I found a TikTok channel that I'm obsessed with now. It's called like At Sea, and it's just like barges and giant ships in rough waters.
Well, that's
have you seen
cool.
any of it? Yeah,
No.
it's like don't fuck with the ocean, man. Watch this.
Again,
this shit is
it's
crazy.
exactly like hanging out with my friends at like 3 a.m. Like, you guys see this?
Oh
Look at this shit.
man, this is some
Oh
2012
no!
ass shit.
Oh no! Nope.
It's a
Pass.
whole channel of just this
Oh,
kind of
God.
stuff.
My nephew
and-
does this for a living, for the record, or at least he did up
Really?
until this year. Yeah, he was
Doxed.
an actual. He was a what do they call it?
Look
A
at that.
merchant seaman, a merchant
Yeah.
marine. I forget.
Whoa,
God.
so, are you a merchant seaman? We need a
He's
merchant
like
seaman.
opening his coat. Yeah, hey, I'm a merchant. I'm a merchant.
Samples. We have samples
But
here.
he was first mate on a ship that went up and down Lake Michigan, and also very scary at times getting footage similar to this. Although I have to say, look at the rolling happening.
Yeah, I would 100%
Oh,
rather be on
no.
Lake Michigan than the ocean.
Here's the thing: it's a different kind of dangerous, and the thing about being
I'm
on
not
the
saying
ocean.
I'm not saying it's not dangerous. I'm just saying if I was given the choice, I would
no,
pick
I
Lake
hear you.
Michigan over the ocean.
I'm just giving you the who's and the hows of it because it was fascinating to me to learn. The thing about being on the ocean is there's generally, strangely enough, more people watching. But you get like things like the Edmund Fitzgerald on the Great Lakes, which, by the way, are stateside. Yeah, that happened. That happened in the Great Lakes.
I know.
So the idea is
I've heard
they're
this.
state-sized bodies of water, and sometimes, not often, but sometimes a ship is just gone, and that is terrifying to me. That's like ghost story stuff, man.
It's terrifying that they
Ooh.
never find some of them. Like they've explored the
Yeah.
ocean depth. Like they've explored the fucking
Yeah.
the surface of the moon more than they've explored like the ocean depths. Like that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It really makes
I
me
love
not want to
sunken
film a lot.
Sailing is creepy. It's genuinely spooky.
It's crazy though that like one of the craziest parts is that before like planes obviously existed, like people just if they needed to get to like a different continent, they just like put their lives on hold, like a month of their life on hold, and they'd be like, "Look, I'm gonna sail them here to like the new world," and it's like I might get there, I might not. Everybody might be dead of cholera by the time they're pulled in. And it's like, damn, that level of risk for like a trip, like you know what I mean? That people sometimes would take. Some people would take multiple times, like in their lives. Some people would take maybe once, but like I don't know. I'm just like you guys can put that life on hold. It's not like you have a phone or something to occupy you, or like anything to occupy you for that time. You're just on a boat.
I just watch this all day.
Somebody goes, What's fun about this? Whoa.
My nuts pull up into my body.
Yeah, look at that.
My butt cheeks squeeze together. Fuck that.
That's why you don't pick fights with guys in bars, because it might be a guy who works on one of those ships, and there's no way you'll ever take him down.
They clearly don't care if they live or die.
They're reckless.
I fought way bigger than you. I fought bigger than you, son.
I love it. It is a wall that gets bigger and bigger, and you could not go through it. You would smack against it and perish before you ever drowned from it. You know what I mean? Like, water takes on, like, water is very dangerous for being so necessary. You know what I mean? Like, it's not safe.
When I was a kid, I almost died because we would go up to Maine every summer, and there was things called the giant steps, like, or they call them like the giant stairs, like they call them both, but like they're these huge like rock steps. They were made by waves hitting them pretty much, and it's just they look like steps. And when I was a kid, like I remember seeing like these giant waves, and the waves would come crashing over the fucking rock steps, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go down to like the second step, and I'm just gonna watch this because it's like, but it was like really choppy that day, and the wave got all the way over the other side of it and like started dragging me in. And I just remember like I just remember water just like overflowing over my head, started dragging me into the water, and like my mom saw me from like, you know, like other thing, and finally like ran in to like grab me and had to like dive into the water and pull me out of the water. But I like was just gonna let the wave take me, I guess. I mean, I don't know what else. Like, it was crazy.
Okay, look.
You're like, oh, that's Jesus calling. I'll see you guys later.
I'm gonna need details, AC.
Yeah.
I've been in way worse than that. I don't know.
On the
I'm
one
gonna need
hand,
details or pictures.
we're talking ocean waves, but on the other hand, this guy does drive a semi for a living, and I do.
That's got nothing to do with the water.
I would like to make
I
I would like to make an announcement on the subject of ocean.
No. This is how we do it here. Okay, some people say goodbye, some people just roll out. It's brutal.
Damn it, she got us good.
Yeah.
Well, in AC,
that's like not an Irish goodbye. It's like a mid-Atlantic goodbye.
Yeah, that's funny as shit. It's like a.
I was gonna
Indian
say there's gotta be stretches of country that are ultra spooky. Like I saw a bear eating a man, or like some effed up thing,
or just where the road is suddenly like you can't see what's right coming up. You know what I mean?
Flash flood, mudslide. Who knows?
Or at night.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
okay.
Imagine being a fucking logger, like a logger in like a or something like that. Like, that's gotta be crazy.
Yeah.
But like driving a semi at night cross country for hours, pretty dangerous. Like,
Bye, Andrea.
I'm not saying that's not risky, but worse than those ocean waves.
Sea. So who knows? He could have just been born witness to a tragedy, or saw it like literally on YouTube. Yeah. Thank you, my dogs are goth, for being a better host than me, one of the hosts of the show.
I just, because Forrest is here, I just want to mention I watched another show. It's German, and it was based on a book. It's called Dear Child. Very good. Anybody hear of this?
I didn't hear about the Dear Child. The Dear Child and the Dear Kinder.
I did some fake German during the show, during one episode, and I had to pause it. My wife was laughing so hard because I was like, okay, look, we should be reading here and watching.
I am the Dear Kinder.
But it's one of these where
Kinder is just a funny word, though.
After a girl was missing for like 13 years, someone reappears that may be her with a daughter, and like a whole, like, the mystery that unravels over like the next 6 episodes, I think, was pretty good, pretty thrilling. I liked it a lot. So anyway, not ISIS. They're not in it at all anywhere.
Okay, so the Deers have joined ISIS.
No, it's DEAR.
Oh,
not a
no, I
dear
like the first
child.
interpretation.
yeah.
I went to the same place in my brain. I'm
I
gonna
assumed it
live
was the Deer child. I even looked up. I guess it's Re is deer in like German, like Rehkinder. I'm the Rehkinder.
No,
there. The Blitzenkinder. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that was a good one. So I
So
recommend that.
So there's a deer and a child in ISIS.
Now
like
that
crazy.
would be something I would maybe expect to see in
Does ISIS have
Hillary Valley.
Does ISIS have
Like the
like
deer children running around with a
Does
fighting
ISIS have,
ISIS in Hillary Valley.
Fighting ISIS.
Oh, Hillary Valley is in Afghanistan. That okay. New level. Hillary bought a plot of land in Afghanistan thinking, yeah, okay, well, when we own this place, I'll want to develop some real estate. That didn't turn out. Now she just has a ranch factory there, ranch dressing factory.
Yeah, ranch and heroin. That's what she's making.
And okay, yes.
There's poppies on the left of me, ranch on the right. Here I am.
The label is Chelsea surrounded by poppies eating a salad. Like, it sounds
Have you ever
good.
seen the Eric Andre show where he's
Yeah,
like, it's time to ranch it up?
Yeah, yes.
gotta
That
get him to
is. What does he say? He'll like walk up to people and say like, "Oh God, okay, you're gonna put me on it now."
One of the weirdest ones he's like he's this Busby mulatto, and he like tries to fist bump white people.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole and watch all those clips again tonight. You can't watch just one. The best one.
There's one that he's like, I'm gonna go chase some Cherokee chicks down the trail of beers. And like tries to get the.
There's one. Oh, where is it?
Good Lord.
There's one he did with the
Reginald.
Muppets.
Sandy.
Okay, I got it.
I love Eric Andre clips. I cannot sit through a whole episode of one of his shows.
They're only like 2 minutes.
I know.
Yeah.
Check
it out.
It's
Check
just too
this
much
out.
for me. I get too uncomfortable.
This was the finale to like season 5 or something. And I already loved the Muppets for this song, and he uses it. And it's weird, but like really cool. Check it out.
Life is stupid, do whatever. You could die or live forever. What to do now, we just don't know. 'Cause that's all we had planned for the show.
Yeah, I like how he's fake. He is George Clooney, Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, and the thing is like when I saw that, I was like, "What is that song? I know that song. That's from something." And then I was like, "Oh, that's the Muppets." It's so good, man. It's so good. But yeah, I mean, so Eric Andre sets that show up in a way that is a turnoff, and I've heard that they'll really do hallucinogenics during the taping. And the taping will go on for hours, and they get it down to like the craziest 10 minutes. And I think the guests know what to expect, especially like the longer the show has been on air, but they don't clue them in. So when they start puking and stuff like that, or like rats run across the stage or whatever it is, like they're not cluing them into that. So some people have walked off.
Oh, yeah, understandably. If you're not braced for it and you're like, yeah, I'll do this quick thing for Adult Swim or whatever, and you get there and it's Eric Andre's show, or I should say the Eric Andre show. Yeah, I mean it's a hard sell, let's say that. Not everybody can be Lance Hendrickson who's just apparently born for that moment.
Yeah. Well, hey, we should wrap this up. It's just about midnight on the East Coast.
Yeah. I do want to say, man, Forrest, we're not particularly good at, and this is not Matt, this is everybody but Matt. We're not particularly good, I feel like, at having guests on the show always. It's basically a gamble to see if we can vibe with them. And I was delighted that we apparently vibe with you very well. You
That's
have a wonderful show.
That's the same like gamble that I feel like I'm taking 95% of the time. It's like if I don't already know the person, it's like are they going to be able to vibe? And it's like we've had like on movie nights, we always have guests. Like we've had some times where it's like, oh, they do not vibe. Like this is not.
I think that's 100% true. That's part of the fun of your show, and that's also what gave me the confidence to like just like charge ahead with this. I don't think Matt has to worry about it. I've never seen Matt fail to get along with somebody. He's got that thing,
BS
social
king.
grace.
Yeah, I'm really good at BSing.
He's just emotionally competent. But like,
tell my wife, please.
I shall. Mrs. the Letterhack.
I feel like some of it is not just like because I feel like it's pretty easy to get along with somebody, right? Like some of it is just throwing out bits and stuff. Like, are people how are they gonna react to that part of it? And it's like,
but at the same time, you have to be able to take. It's good to be. You don't have to, but it's good to be able to take that risk.
If you're gonna be in the podcast game, definitely.
Yeah, the danger of it not going well is part of the fun. So, guys, if you're not already watching Movie Night Extravaganza, you absolutely should. If you're not already watching the Letterhack, you should watch Letterhack. And also, never forget.
Jason. Hey, Forrest, Movie Night Extravaganza, easily, I say this way too much probably, best theme song in the business, best videos, best research. It's so good and informative and entertaining and just fun. It's really sensational, and I each time I've been on there, it's a real pleasure.
We love having you on.
Yeah, and thank you for coming on. We got to have you back because this is a lot of fun. I think it's
and you gotta have Conan on because he's
well, we have to basically. Yeah, no, we're looking at that as well. But thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it. Thanks everybody for hanging out. All right. Hey, are you on Friday or Tuesday? When's the next show?
We're on. Well, now this week we're doing next Wednesday. We're gonna do Furiosa. Finally, we're gonna talk about it. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's been Left Past 10. Next week we will be back at 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you then. I was in this pet store recently and I was looking at these cages for birds. And I asked the guy behind the counter, I said, some of these cages I heard were made of nickel. Is that true? And he's like, no. And I was like, none of the cages in here are made of nickel? And he said, no. And I picked up one and I said, you're telling me this cage is not made of nickel? And he said, no, it's not. And I said, so this is a nickel-less cage?